We get to live to podcast another day, Gary. Welcome in, folks. That was something else. The Yankees needed it. And you know what? I just am so impressed by this offense coming alive when they had to have it. And you look at games like this, and I mean, how many times have you watched a team in the postseason, they get off to a bad start, and then they're just dead in the water? The Yankees didn't even get off to a bad start. They score a run in the first inning offensively, and really just Carlos Rodon just wet the sheets, as Gary normally would say. And unfortunately, and that is something we'll get into, and that's an issue for down the road. But right now, the Yankees have extended this to a 4-game series. We'll see if they can get to 5 and bring this back to Toronto. But I think the big thing was, can you get Cam Schlittler on the mound for a game 4? If you can, you got a shot. But Gary, big win, and obviously the biggest thing of all, maybe the thing that's going to pay dividends in the future beyond just this postseason. Aaron Judge came alive when he needed to. This wasn't just he hit a really big home run in the World Series or whatever. No. He hit a home run that basically just put this game on its head. Even when the Yankees tied it up at 6-6, it felt like they were up 9-6. The Blue Jays did not recover after that. They did not score another run. This felt like a Blue Jays stampede to start the game. And then Aaron Judge comes out and literally quiets everybody down. What an incredible player, and honestly, what an incredible call by Joe Davis. But I'll just send it to you. I am absolutely stoked. I'm just so glad we get a chance to continue to cover this team. At least, if not for another night, I'm just going to appreciate what we have left of this team.
Yeah, here's the good news. Judge is no longer the scapegoat of the organization, because I think that's where he was. His average coming into the game was 444, right? Which is good.
Yes.
You were explaining that. I thought you did a good job. Right, following game 2 rather, but you were trying to explain that it can't be a bad thing that you're hitting 444. But then obviously I wanted to go into game 1 where Judge took a bases loaded at bat with nobody out, and he didn't come through. And it's a short sample size. I understand that. I think everyone gets that, but when you get your chances, you have to come through in those chances, right? It's what Derek Jeter had to deal with. It's what Tino Martinez had to deal with. A lot of players in Yankees history, in their short sample sizes, they find ways to make their impact. You saw it from Vlad Jr. today. He leaves the yard in the first inning, and you're thinking, oh, this is his way to stamp himself and finish off the Yankees. Aaron Judge comes up today with the Yankees down 3 to hit a home run on that pitch, 100 miles an hour off the plate in, and keep that fair. And to listen to John Smoltz have to call it as well on the broadcast was one of the sweetest moments of my podcasting career. So, yeah, I'm going to tell you guys one thing. The Yankees had to find a way to get to game 4. I understand what's at stake. We heard, I'm sure if you guys were listening to the broadcast, you guys heard that Schneider on the other side was thinking, okay, Trey Yesavich potentially could be used in game 4. Guys, the Jays don't want to go back to Toronto and play that game. No. Is it an advantage for the Blue Jays? 100%. But there's something to be said about momentum. And when you win 2 games at home, momentum's clearly on your side. But when you drop 2 on the road to come back home, playing that game at home won't feel the same as it did in games 1 and 2. Now, it may get them over the hump, but I'll tell you right now, this Yankees team will be feeling really good walking back to Toronto, as bad as they've played over there, if Cam Schlittler can help them get there. Now, Jake, now that we know Aaron Judge is no longer a problem, we know Cam Schlittler, the last time he saw Toronto, it didn't go well. He didn't have that sinker, which was a feature pitch. It was featured in the Boston series. He's clearly going to be using that pitch, clearly, right? And Cam Schlittler said that I was tipping pitches. That's why I think the start went the way it did. We've long been on record saying we didn't care for that. But Cam Schlittler gets an opportunity now to right that wrong against a team that's going to be really throwing a bullpen game for game 4. And Jake, this is the final thing I'll say. This is the interesting part about leading up to game 5. It's going to be really interesting to see how aggressive the Jays are going to be with their bullpen and who they're going to pitch, because you have to keep in mind when you're the Jays and you know that you have a safety net of a Game 5 at home where you've played really well, how aggressive are you in Game 4? If Cam Schlittler really has it going and he's shutting you down, do you go to your high leverage guys or do you save him for a Game 5? I just think all this is interesting, but it all stems from the Yankees' come-from-behind victory. None of us expected. I'm not going to act like because I've listened to this team and watched this team all year and all of last year. Jake, we haven't missed a game to say that I predicted or thought this would happen. We all thought we were dead to rights, but give this team credit for coming back.
Yeah, absolutely had them winning the next 2 games. But if you told me they were going to come back down 6-1 in the postseason, we've been saying how long since the show started? We've been talking about how the postseason is 2-1, 3-2, 4-3. Like, you don't normally come back down 6-1.
No, God no.
They were dead in the water, and Aaron Judge, the leader of the team, had to rise up and rise to the occasion. That's what he did, right? And Cody Bellinger came through, and Jazz Chisholm with a home run. How about that? The go-ahead home run. It was a special night in the Bronx. Now, we've seen this movie before. We saw that in the World Series, and you had Joe Davis on the call and said, sleeping giant has awoken. And then you're like, oh, okay. And then obviously, but this is a little different. The Yankees just have to win tomorrow, and then they have to win Friday? That's it.
Yeah, and it's still, from a technical standpoint, Cam Schlittler pitched, right, in that Boston series winner-take-all game.
Yes.
There's a reason it was as special as it was. There's a difference between pitching in a Game 1 scenario or a Game 2 scenario and pitching in that winner-take-all Game 5. There's definitely a possibility that it still could just go completely south for the Yankees. Offensively, they showed nothing, right, against the Savage, but there's a different feeling to that game. And Jake, we had a conversation actually. You were texting me and saying what the Yankees should do if we do get to a Game 5, if they find a way to win Game 4. You were saying that you don't actually have that high of hopes for Max Fried and how that start would go. I mean, I'm on the same boat with you. I guess where I'm at right now is, where do the Yankees turn now? Because I think a lot of people look at our rotation and they see a lot of names. You see Rodon, you see Fried, right? You see what Cam Schlittler can do. Will Warren was pretty good during the regular season. We had him outside the bubble for postseason. But then you look at a Luis Gil, and people made it seem like, oh, Garrett Cole comes back. We've got an embarrassment of riches. I think the Yankees have a lot of good pitching, but once it gets to the level where you've got to get out some of the best lineups in baseball in postseason time, there aren't really any ways. Do you really trust anyone outside of Cam Schlittler right now? Because I know you text me, so I'm going to give you the floor here, but I just have a hard time tossing the ball to anyone other than our rookie, Cam Schlittler.
Yeah, and I guess this is tomorrow's problems. If you don't get past Toronto, then this doesn't matter for the future. But right. I mean, yeah, I'm very concerned if I'm a Yankee fan about a World Series run if they do get by, because Fried looks terrible. I know he pitched well against Boston, but I did tell you how I felt about the wild card. I felt like it just feels like an extension of the season. I feel like the ALDS is when it really starts to feel, the NLDS too.
I agree with that 100%, which, by the way, you backed up with not just the pitching. You said that about Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
Aaron Judge, he hasn't been a good postseason player his whole career. This is new. And you mentioned the wild card numbers from Aaron Judge. He's been awesome his whole career in the wild card. He destroyed Oakland at the time, right? He's killed a lot of teams in the wild card. And then Yankees fans, because, we're the ones who watch him the most, we watch him in the division series. We see him in the championship series against Cleveland. We see him in the World Series against the Dodgers, and you're like, something's different here. So I agree with you completely. Fried and Rodon and all these guys pitching in the wild card, completely different scenario. And the same goes for Cam Schlittler. That was a big winner-take-all game at the stadium, but that's still the wild card. This is the division series against the Toronto Blue Jays, a team that's played you well. I'm just most interested in seeing what Cam Schlittler does, because if Cam Schlittler shows up and controls this postseason game, the Jays can't feel good. I don't care who you've got in the wings starting for game 5 or who you have, in your back pocket. The reality is losing a game 4 and being forced to come back home. I don't know how you're confident if you're a Jays fan. I don't, in my opinion, think the Yankees or the Jays going back to game 5. I don't think anyone. It's just a total toss-up at that point where you just have to imagine it's going to be a one-run game. Both teams are going to find a way to make that game close. So I don't know if my hair will be here by the end of the postseason, but Jake, we're still alive.
It's true, right? Live to podcast another day. And that's, I was joking about it, but it's true. We really don't want this season to end. We absolutely love hanging out with you guys, and we're not going anywhere. I mean, we're going to be around, but you can't justify going live every night if the Yankees aren't playing anymore, right? So we're not ready for this to end at all. We were spoiled our first year doing this. They go to the World Series. That's all we know so far as podcasters. So, we're really not, waiting for this to end. We're hoping this continues, but I got to give a huge shout out to the bullpen. I thought, Fernando Cruz, and we'll have a conversation, I'm sure, about this because he's not in my circle of trust. He was great tonight. Great. But he is not in my circle of trust just because of the high variance that you're getting with a splitter ball pitcher. Okay.
It's valid.
And the thing, his lack of control, but we'll take it when we get it. Doval looks ready. He looks locked in. He looks ready to help this team. He's in my circle of trust. If you told me that 2 weeks ago, I would have laughed in your face. Tim Hill, 100% circle of trust. Love what I saw today from Tim Hill. Got the win. Well-deserved there. Devin Williams has looked sensational in the postseason. Love what I've seen from him. He's in my circle of trust. And David Bednar is 100% the guy that I trust late in games. So those guys, I'm running it back tomorrow with. I think you're going to have to run it back tomorrow with them. You're going to have to take that day off, and then you're going to have to use all of them on Friday because, Gary, I'm going with a bullpen game. I am going to have Max Fried be my opener. And this is when Ryan Yarbrough could really have helped out this team. Who the hell is Eric?
I thought you were going to say Eric Ibar. I was like,
Eric Ibar. Who the hell is Eric Yarbrough? Anyway,
I don't know.
I don't know what my brain's doing. What football player's named Eric that just popped in my head? Anyway, point being, Max Fried, you and I had a great plan, I thought, because we both agreed on this instantaneously. I was like, we're on the same page. So you and I would both go with Fried 1, 2, 3 innings. Now, it's not just set in stone. No. It would be based on how he performs. If he gives up like 4 runs in the first inning, he's gone already. I'm not even allowing him to give up 4 runs.
If he gives up a run and there's traffic on the bases at that point, I pull Fried right then and there. Yeah. I don't even allow him. The leash is a joke. It is as short of a leash as it could possibly be. I know from a technical standpoint, people would say, well, you can't have your $200 million pitcher because he literally, that's his contract. You can't have that guy be somebody on full rest, by the way, which is what he would have going into a game 5 that doesn't exist yet. But if it does, you're going to give him the ball. You should be able to trust him. I think getting ourselves in situations where we're like, oh, let's put him out there because this is what should happen. I promise you, that's not a winning equation. And that's where Aaron Boone has to come in and do a job as manager and just realize, hey, this guy has this certain role to be the ace of the team. He hasn't earned that role in October. And so I have to act accordingly. If Max Fried's going to go out there, Max Fried is an opener. With all due respect, you can go out there and pitch in the wild card. You can go pitch for Atlanta. Nothing has happened in a positive way for you to take the ball in Toronto and to go out there and give us that performance. It was a nothing burger game, essentially started by you. Now, how am I supposed to, in good health here, hand you the ball and be like, hey, man, take us to the promised land? No. And I understand that a lot of times Aaron Boone, the way he manages is, I'm going to trust my guys and let them get the last laugh. I'm going to give the ball to Max Fried. Guys, Jake and I are both aware that Max Fried could be handed the ball in a potential game 5, and he can go 6 innings and give up 1 run. We know it's physically possible. We get it. But you shouldn't be allowed to go out there and give up 4 runs in the first 2 innings of the game and ruin this series. You cannot let that happen. And I think The list that you gave, the Hills, Doval, what he's done, Bednar and Williams, Weaver is out of that group. Out.
I don't want to see Weaver throw another pitch for this team.
Right. If
truthfully.
You have Fried coming out there and you say your leash is short, I'm going back to the same guys who have proven in this short series, I can perform and get the job done. If you go home because of the guys who have helped you so far, so be it. You're not good enough. Make another team. Build another team, and we try again next year. But you cannot possibly force Weaver into this game, force Fried out there long term, and then ruin a game 5. So thought actually that Aaron Boone managed a pretty good game today. I will say.
He got
there were some things that some people could say were somewhat a little spotty, right? Ryan McMahon's at bat, you take him out the game.
Ryan McMahon thing. That was early too.
The very first at bat of the following half inning, there's a ground ball to third base that goes through, clearly doesn't go through on McMahon if he's at third base. So, but that's just being hindsight, Hank. I get it.
Well,
and I can understand how
I didn't like it immediately, but
you didn't like it immediately. But I will say, and Josh, I really do appreciate it. I see you in the live chat. I'll throw you up on screen. And guys, before I read this, please be sure to subscribe to Yankees Unloaded. If you haven't yet, we go live after every single Yankees game. Like the video. It's the best way possible to support the channel. Josh says, Gary predicted it. We would go down 2-0 and we would win the next 3. And Josh, I will say, I've somewhat rescinded that because of Trey Savage and his performance. But I guess... well, first of all, I never saw that Trey Savage would pitch the way he did. Nobody did, other than Blue Jays fans.
Nuts.
But I did say we would lose the first 2, we'd win the next 2, and we would show up for a game 5. And we play really, I think we're 1-8 in Toronto this year. That's not good. So let's get to some of our super chats. I do see Apex with the 2 says, eat G's contract if we lose, not worth long run. We'll worry about that in the offseason. I mean, probably, right? I don't know. He contributed tonight, so I'll give him.
Yeah, he put the first runs on the board. So
yeah, so I'm gonna worry about that when the time comes. I don't think the Yankees really have options as of now that can slot in and give us his type of production. So I'm not worried about Giancarlo. He's costing us $10 million in 2026. So it's not a concern of mine, but Apex, we do appreciate it.
I'm a little worried about Volpe.
Are you?
Well, he's starting to strike out. He doesn't walk, right? So his thing was, he hits in October. Well, if he's not going to hit in October and he's just going to strike out, well, I don't see how you play him over Caballero, who I don't know what the hell he did to his hand, but no problem. Just serves it into right field. Like, he's just going to play over Volpe if Volpe isn't, if he's not going to step up. So,
right.
Yeah.
At least the defense is there for Volpe. So
that's true.
We'll take that. But offensively, Anthony Volpe, when you can run, you have to find a way on base and find a way to have
cortisone. You guys,
did somebody put that in the chat?
Yeah. Big Boss Baby Bomber said Volpe needs more cortisone.
We treat it like it's steroids.
It's like shot, you just take it.
Whatever it is, it's got the magic sauce. Tank 1562 with the 2. We really appreciate it. Thank you. Says Doval has quietly turned things around. Jake, you mentioned Doval. You said who could have seen that coming? Jake, give us some credit here. We both were on air saying Doval was the one wild card bullpen guy we could see turning it around and being used in October. This is exactly what we said. Now, we've been wrong about other players. That's one of the players we were right about. We just were.
Yeah, no, I'm really happy for Doval too, because it looked like he was just absolutely drowning in New York. So this has been a good look for him. Obviously, he's got to keep it up, but I've liked what I've seen. This is a team win. Your starting pitcher doesn't help you out. He honestly was up there. I'm not saying he would have won the Cy Young this year, but he was in the top 10 for voting. And
he was at least part of the conversation at some point.
Yeah, and I know we gave up the home run to Vlad Guerrero Jr., but he just didn't have it. It wasn't like he unraveled. I just felt like he never really got going. He had the strikeout to start the game, but Springer just looked awful today.
Can I ask you a question though?
Yeah.
Why did Aaron Boone allow Carlos Rodon to pitch to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in that situation? Mind you, we weren't in a tight spot at all. It wasn't it wasn't bases loaded.
Like, walk him.
What? But I think everyone thought the same thing.
Yeah.
It almost felt, because mind you, it's damn if you do, damn if you don't. There was a situation where Garrett Cole was standing on the mound and he's like, oh, we're putting up 4 fingers. Rafael Devers, why don't you go ahead and take first base? Because if you watch enough of the Yankees, he doesn't get Devers out. When we saw that, we then saw Devers walk to first base and someone said, oh, it was just such a weak move to really surrender, right? It was seen as a surrender. And then the following hitters did damage. So in that moment, do you think that Boone considers these things, or do you think that's on Rodon? Like, who do you blame here for that decision to go after him?
It's the competitive nature of Rodon. I don't think Boone had a chance of telling him, oh, yeah, you're going to walk him. Rodon wanted to go after him. You could see he was already pissed off. So, yeah, I personally, for me, you're watching on the other end, all year long during the regular season when it doesn't matter the way the postseason does, and they're walking Judge every time. And it was frustrating, but it was right. It was the right decision. Look, I understand baseball, it's entertainment, right? This is an entertainment business, but at the same time, I'm trying to win. I don't care if you went to the park to see Vladdy Guerrero hit home runs. Well, tough shit. I went to the park to see my team win, and my team's not going to win if I just keep pitching to Vladdy Guerrero Jr. So
yeah, if you were the manager, though, wouldn't you tell your starting pitcher? Because, I imagine you talk about game plans and like what you're planning on doing. You build lineups, you tell hitters what the game plan is, how aggressive we're going to be. To not tell your starting pitcher, hey, do you see that guy who very well, he has a chance to be in the Hall of Fame in about 20 years. You see that guy over there he's hitting about 948 in this series. You probably should find a way to make sure that he doesn't beat you. So when you walk the hitter in front of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and just one guy is on base, you don't give up a 2-run home run. So I'm just letting you know now, unless the bases are loaded, you are walking him. So I do think Aaron Boone is somewhat responsible there. You have to communicate. That's part of your job, is to be a clear communicator and say, hey, if Kirk beats us, if Springer beats us, right? If some of these other guys, damn, what the hell? If IKF beats us, what's his name who we can't get out? Ernie Clement.
Oh.
If he beats us again, you go home. That's how this goes, right? If the Marco Scutaro of the roster beats you, you can at least say, all right, something unique happened to send us home. But to go home because Aaron Judge hit a 3-run home run off the foul pole, that's gotta kill you, right? To watch somebody give up a 2-run shot to Vladdy Jr., Jake, when I saw that home run, I thought we were cooked right then and there because just simply the momentum. So, yeah, I just think Boone has to do a better job of communicating the game plans. That game plan to me, whether it was Rodon or him, it doesn't make sense to me. I don't think it's not going to work. You just sit that one out.
The Yankees finally took advantage of an error, and that made me feel really good because 2 errors, actually. IKF and then Addison Barger. Now,
that was brutal.
Barger's felt like I've seen this movie with the Yankees in the postseason against the Dodgers. And I'm like, you had better take advantage of that moment. Because that should have been an out. That was just a bad... I don't even know what that was.
It was brutal.
That was awful. So you need to take advantage of those moments because that's what every other team does against you. And it was good to see the Yankees actually do that. This is one of those games where it's not just all homers. Judge was key and critical in this one, just even away from the homer. He doubles, knocks in Grisham in the 3rd inning. And it goes to show you in that 3rd inning, it's 6-2, right? We still got a long way to go. But that shows you that immediately they're trying to get up off the mat. They're not dead yet, right? Then Stanton has the sacrifice fly to score Bellinger. Now it's 6-3. And then the next inning is when Judge ties it up. It's 6-6. And you're like, this is the 4th inning. We've already seen 12 runs.
It was like one of the longest games of pitch. What was it? What do they call it? With the clock? We also saw Jazz. Do you see Jazz yawn? we were down 6-1. I was like, this can look worse for us.
That wasn't great. And he got absolutely destroyed on that on social media. But yeah, shout out to Austin Wells. He's called a great game behind the plate. I think he's looked good behind the plate defensively, and he also went 2 for 4 tonight, and he has one of the best batting averages on the team now, hitting 278, which I actually believe is the best of the qualified. So, yeah, Austin Wells is stepping up at the right time, bottom of the order. I might probably move Volpe to 9th and put Austin Wells at 8th at this point, and maybe even. Well, yeah. I mean, I like
hell of a promotion there. Like, you've graduated from. I do because Anthony Volpe clearly he's in the lineup to hit a random home run whenever they come.
Yes,
and play defense. And if Caballero's not going to play, we don't know the status of the injury. We have no.
I wish Jason Dominguez could play short so badly.
I know
but that bat would be so nice happen in this lineup right now. And I'm saying that after they just won 9-6 in a game where they were down 6-1.
No, but we also know what our offenses look like.
Yeah.
Big picture here. We've struggled offensively. I know we scored against the Jays' low-leverage bullpen at the end of Game 2. That counts for something, right? Get it going, get some confidence going. But we didn't draw any conclusions about those runs. I mean, Cody Bellinger's 3-run jack, we were like, how important was that? But you go back to Yankee Stadium, we did actually have some at-bats where you said, oh, they actually executed, right? Ben Rice, who really struggled today, there was an at-bat where he's taking, and they're talking about, okay, sinker ball, sinker ball, sinker ball. And it was the only positive thing I think John Smoltz said about the Yankees the whole night. And he mentioned the job that Ben Rice did staying on the ball and keeping that ball off the ground, right?
He didn't look great before that, though.
No, in the importance of doing that. So you can look bad all game, but when you get your shot with men on base, men in scoring position with less than 2 outs, you cannot fail. You can't. I actually text that to you, Jake. I said, we cannot fail in this situation. This cannot be a 1-run game going into the 9th. And Ben Rice, guys like Giancarlo Stanton, guys like Austin Wells made sure that it wasn't. We had a comfortable lead. Jake, by the way, I don't know if you saw it on social media, and we'll get back to our super chats. There were a lot of people that were upset that David Bednar pitched in this game, right? And
I wasn't.
Ariel Epstein was on Twitter, and she said, why is Bednar pitching? And I thought it was a fair question. It was fair.
Absolutely.
Because if you don't use Bednar, then A, you're not going multi-inning. That's great. And B, you're saying, all right, I can save him to pitch in a potential Game 4 now that Game 4 is for sure happening. You expect to save a game up 3. But to which I would say to Ariel or anyone else who criticized the move, if Aaron Boone pulled David Bednar from that game and put whoever else in, and it probably would have been Luke Weaver if we're being perfectly honest. 100%. If Luke Weaver had blown, and to say he could give up 3 runs to the Toronto Blue Jays is an understatement. If he'd blown that game, I'm not joking you, I would have GoFundMe a flight to any other country other than here and shipped Aaron Boone express, first class, way gone. You would be fired on the spot. That's how bad of a decision that would be. So I don't know how you felt about it. I loved going with Bednar because, in my opinion, Bednar's pitching Game 3, you are pitching Game 4, and we have a day off in between Game 5 if it exists. You are pitching Game 5. I think that's just as clear as day as how it's going to go.
The one thing I would push back on, because I'm with you almost all the way. Mm-hmm. I didn't have an issue bringing in David Bednar. I had an issue taking out Devin Williams.
Okay.
I thought Bednar should have just pitched the 9th, and they could have got through Williams in the 8th. He was striking guys out. I know it was, guy worked to count. Hate to break it to you, that's what the Blue Jays do. So I felt like right after the strikeout, taking him out, I disagreed with. And then, Bednar comes in. Now he has to have a 5-out, save. But what I don't understand is, like, people are complaining about Bednar's closing. This is his job. Like, it's 9-6 in a, like, literally, you don't win, you go home. So I had no issue wanting to go down swinging with your best. And if Bednar gave up the game, then he gives up the game. The way I see it is this. Devin Williams being activated in the 7th inning, he was never going to pitch the 9th.
Right.
So that leaves only Luke Weaver and Bednar to pitch the 9th. And if you put in Luke Weaver, like you said, Boone, you should be fired. Bednar is your closer. So if Bednar can't get the job done, you didn't have anybody that could, in my opinion. That's how I look at it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm sorry. Maybe you could make the argument, oh, I could put in Paul Blackburn. No. There's not a soul that you could put in based on the way this game went. There's not a soul that you could put in that would have done what Bednar did. And
so your one difference would have been to extend Williams out a little bit longer. It's not multi-out anymore for Bednar. Knowing for a fact, Bednar, if things go well for us, Bednar is the one common denominator. The Yankees will not, if the Yankees win game 3, 4, and 5, Bednar will pitch in every single one of those games. Guaranteed. So that's probably the way you should treat it. And also, you saw Devin Williams, his fastball, he was 97 tonight. To the point where he was blowing guys away. So give him credit. I mean, when people are piling dirt on you, I'm not here to say that Yankees Unloaded we were championing. Devin Williams is going to get it figured out. He's going to turn into Milwaukee Devin Williams. No, Devin Williams was horrible this year. He was not good at all.
I did towards the end of the year. I was like, I feel good about him in the postseason. Remember that?
Yeah, no, which is totally understandable.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are saying, okay, here's how it looks for 5 months, which is also your job, right? To be good for the regular season. People forget that. You have to be good during the regular season. They also look at Devin Williams and what he did in that Milwaukee series, or the Mets series last year.
Yeah.
And you're saying, okay, he didn't come through in that situation. Is he built for this? And then you saw today that Devin Williams goes out there and shuts down, in my opinion. This is just my opinion. Toronto's the toughest lineup to deal with in Major League Baseball. I don't think they are the best lineup in terms of talent, but in terms of the challenge to deal with them, I think they're easily, far and away, the biggest test. Cam Schlittler and what you're going to see, he could be the exact same pitcher with the exact same stuff that he had in that final game of the wild card. It won't go as easy as it did in that Boston series in these games. I promise you, they're not striking out at the clip that you see other lineups strike out at. This team is built to put the ball in play. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is doing it. Kirk's doing it, right? Everyone is committed to put the ball in play. So I'm most interested to see what Cam Schlittler does. The thing that I actually have really high hopes for, Jake, this is the big kicker for me. I told you my biggest concern with Cam Schlittler, and this was in the middle of the regular season, is that I'm concerned, and this is before he was really coming on in his big league career, how are you going to get soft contact? How can you get the ball in play and be happy about it? He just unveils the sinker in the middle of the wild card. None of us saw it coming. And it's one of the best pitches you've ever seen. It's 100 miles an hour, moving about 3 feet. Never seen anything like that.
Matt Blake effect, man. He's gotten a lot of flack, but look at these bullpen guys. When it needs to happen, they're coming through. The starting pitching, I can't help you there, but
that pitch has to be and it will be. It's a major part of the attack. If you're going to try and get the ball in play weak, and our defense is playing better baseball of late, that sinker is going to have to work. And I promise you, the Jays they're up 2-1 in this series. They have an advantage. They don't feel good now. They felt good to start this game. They think, well, let's just go throw the first punch. They won't get up off the mat. We got up and threw a punch and knocked them out. And so now we're showing up for a game 4. Jake, I feel pretty good about going back to Toronto. I do. Give all credit, to not Rodon, but to our bullpen, because I thought Tim Hill did a fantastic job in this game.
Yes,
he's in that circle of trust now, and this is part of the reason why I said Tim Hill is not in my circle of trust, but he's not a problem. Yeah, what's up?
This is the Yankees. Welcome to the Yankees baseball in 2025. Jake's circle of trust keeps changing, but I don't blame him. I'm the same way. That's how I feel. Literally, this team has just been like a roller coaster. It's so funny.
Everyone in the live chat, go ahead and do me a favor. Do me a favor. Drop in the chat who's in your circle of trust. And the circle of trust shouldn't be long. Give me that circle of trust and then tell me below that, right? In a little side paragraph, was this the circle of trust that you had 4 months ago? Is it the exact same list that you had? Because obviously that was light-spirited, which, again, thank you for being here in our live chat. But Jake, at one point or another, Devin Williams was a DFA candidate, right?
Yeah, we talked about it.
There were guys on our roster. Doval was unpitchable. He couldn't throw a strike. Now he's in he's got a pitch. Even to the point where you text me at the end of this game and said, I actually think Doval, if we get to a game 5, I can see him going multi-out. Do you know how ridiculous this team has been
insane.
It's ridiculous.
It's absolutely insane. By the way, I have to bounce something off you.
Yeah.
I don't know where Yarbrough is health-wise. I don't. But keeping him off, this roster for Blackburn just seems weird. Like, he must not be anywhere near healthy because I feel like, they'd have an advantage in Game 5 with Yarbrough. Like, I would literally open with Yarbrough. If you got Yarbrough at the beginning of the year, I would open the game with him.
Well, they probably agree. It's just that Yarbrough went out there his last time and got shelled, so they're probably perceiving it that he's just not. We didn't have enough of a runway.
So it's
you're absolutely right.
It's weird because say they get by this, right? And it's not going to be easy. So I'm not assuming anything. If they get by this, do you leave Luke Weaver off of the roster and do you put Yarbrough on it?
No.
Because, I don't even know where I would go at this point.
I don't pitch either of them. And obviously, it's the easy thing to say, the guy who's pitching poorly. Yeah. I can just go to the other guy who we don't have any results to say that Yarbrough is not pitching well. But I do remember how Yarbrough was pitching in September. So
he must be injured. They must not like where he's at, and that is what it is. But okay, let's talk strategy here. Mm-hmm. So Game 4, there's all sorts of stuff. Like during the broadcast, they're trying to talk themselves into Savage going, which I will say this right now.
Oh my God, that's such a mistake.
Savage will not look like he did in Toronto. It was being set up to fail in the Bronx. Okay? I'm just going to say that right now, the Yankees are guaranteed to win Game 4 if Savage goes. I have no doubt about it. And then Game 5 happens. And now you don't have him. And now you have a guy who already showed control issues earlier in the year against this team in Gausman. I am not a believer in Kevin Gausman, okay? I'm just not. I know he pitched well his first game, but think about this. That was his first game of the postseason, okay? And another thing, I went back and I did some thinking. And with Savage, I think I knew what they were doing. I actually think, even though he was dominant, I went back and I thought about this. Do you realize that the lineup only saw him twice? Only saw him twice. They were really quick, and they've done that this year. Even when Savage is dominating, this is not the first time they've done that. So I thought that was interesting because initially I read it all wrong. I thought Schneider was setting him up to pitch Game 5. I actually think they're going to make the mistake and pitch him tomorrow. I do. And
you really think? Because if you think about this, Jake,
yes,
I want you to think about this.
I do.
So when you're saying you think he's going to pitch, you're saying he's going to pitch out of the bullpen?
I think he might get the start tomorrow.
Okay, so I'm going to put the chances of him pitching. The only way I can see him touching the mound is if the Jays take a lead the way you saw tonight. And that's really
touch the mound tomorrow at all.
Right. He shouldn't at all. So if I'm the Jays manager, I don't let him touch the mound under any circumstances because I can tell you right now, just make the assumption that the Yankees find a way to win Game 4 and you let Savage pitch. You let him start, you let him come out of the bullpen. Regardless, you take him out of the mix for Game 5. The Yankees are going to win Game 5. Don't screw that up. That would be stupid.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about a rookie pitcher, he has hardly any experience, which some of the most insane stuff we've ever seen, you've got to allow him to pitch Game 5. Kevin Gausman shouldn't pitch that game. He's a good pitcher. He's a really good arm, but we have success against him. I understand he pitched well against us in the first game, but Jake, that would just be putting momentum on the Yankees side for really no reason at all. I don't think it's happening at all. I just don't. So obviously this is good. You think they're going to go for the jugular tomorrow. I think they're going to try to do that. There's no question. But I think pitching your perceived best pitcher and not leaving him in your back pocket for a potential Game 5, I don't see how that ever happens.
They should pitch Gausman tomorrow. I just have a feeling they're going to go with Trey. And I think that would set them up for failure. Because I think if anybody needs the home field advantage, it's the rookie, not Gausman. Gausman's, you have a guy like that as your ace because he's a veteran. He's been there, done that, and you can rely on him on the road. Savage, he's given up 5 runs on the road. He's pitched 2 games at home in his entire MLB career. He's pitched 2 games at home. In those games, he's pitched 10 1/3, 5 hits he's given up, no earned runs, 3 walks, 16 strikeouts. On the road, he's given up 8 hits and 9 innings pitched, 5 runs, 5 walks, 11 strikeouts. So he still strikes guys out. I'm not saying he won't strike guys out, but there is clearly a difference here. And it's a small sample size, but it's enough to say, yeah, he's given up runs on the road and he doesn't give up runs at home. So if they do make the dumb decision to start him tomorrow, they will have pissed away the series. I think
Schneider's too smart. I think Schneider's too smart for that. I think he's just too smart.
But they kept talking about it, so I wasn't sure if they had any inside knowledge or whatever. So I will say this. I am going to have to wait and see when it comes to New York. Can New York win these next 2 games? Absolutely. They could go into Toronto and they can win. Okay? They absolutely can. If they pitch Savage tomorrow or Gausman, I think they win regardless. They're winning tomorrow. I feel good about that. It's game 5 for me where I need Fried. And this is the thing. You and I are on the same page, but we're not the manager, Gary. You and I are saying pitch Fried a total of 3 innings. I mean, if he's pitching well, great, right? Keep him in. But, you're going to have a short leash on him. That's not a guarantee that Boone's going to do that, guys. This is just Yankees Unloaded, 2 jabronis here telling you what we think and what they should do. So that's the concern, Gary, is that we have no control. Fried could end up pitching and have a blow-up outing and the game's over. We don't know. And I think really it's going to be determined based on tomorrow, because if the Yankees bats show up tomorrow and you see another one of these performances where, like I said, it was a big deal. Even though they got blown out, they still rallied at the end of the game. They weren't going to win, but it was about building some momentum, anything positive. And they carried that into tonight. You could see it. So now you carry this into tomorrow. Does that show up? If that shows up, Toronto's in trouble. They're in trouble. They are. I just think that they would be absolutely stupid if they decided to start Trey Savage tomorrow and not game 5.
Yeah, would totally agree. We'll get back to our super chats. Teabag, hell of a name. Thank you for the 2. And we're going to talk Rodon. I think it's time for us to give you guys an extended talk about Max Fried, what we think about Fried, Rodon, how much you guys should trust him, because I saw Ashley Rodon on Twitter, and she was complaining about the calls. No.
Yeah, there was more to it than that.
Was there?
A lot more.
Teabag with the 2 said, needed this win so bad. Big G has not woken up yet. He hasn't woken up to his standards, but he drove in 2 tonight. He was 1 for 4. He found a way to contribute, so we'll give him his credit. Obviously, there's more to be had. We'll see if he does. Golden Spatian with the 2 says, Buck Martinez should not be in the booth. Annoying.
I agree. He's incredibly irritating.
Yeah. There's not much else we could say about that.
Just listen.
But Golden,
there you go.
Thank you for the super. We do appreciate it. And Mark with the 2 says, shout out Big Sleep. Getting on equals having to pitch to Cap. Okay.
That's true.
Trent Grisham has been atrocious in this series. Finding a way to get on base, to put Aaron Judge in his second clutch moment at bat of the series. This was only his second at bat he was taking. That was a clutch moment. You gave him another shot at it. Jake, that was part of what we were mentioning, is that the other's job is to get him in a position and tee it up. Tee it up for him. They did it last year. I thought the Yankees offense did actually a pretty solid job of teeing up Judge in moments where he could have come through, and he didn't. Mark, they did it in this moment. The Big Sleep, I can't believe his nickname's now the Big Sleep. I mean, there's fly balls in postseason games to the warning track, and he looks like he's in his flip-flops in spring training. It's insane the way he plays, but it's not lazy. It's just how he does things. But yeah, credit to the big sleep for getting on base. And some orange from Hitman with the 20 said John Smoltz sounds like he doesn't like the Yankees during the commentary. That's probably because he doesn't. The 1996 World Series, anyone? The tone doesn't lie. Yeah,
it's obvious.
Took some wind out of his sails when we tied the game. That was beautiful.
You know, shame on Fox? Shame on Fox for putting him on the broadcast. You have everybody and their mother that knows he's against one of the teams. He has a bias. Michael Kay doesn't even, he talks about that all the time. He doesn't want to show a bias for a team. That's why, I mean, there are people complaining. They're like, why is it that when like Nick Kurtz had like a double that scored 2 and hurt the Yankees, he sounded happy? I'm like, that's Michael Kay. He's trying to call it straight down the middle. He has more knowledge about the Yankees because he's on the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network, but he does a really nice job of calling it down the line, I think.
If you're a fan of the other team, you can enjoy your experience if Michael Kay is forced on you, right? Because that happens.
Yeah.
A certain broadcaster may be forced on you. Maybe you don't like a Joe Davis. Maybe you don't like some of these guys. Well, at least if you're a fan of the Jays, you want there to be excitement when something good happens for you. If you're a Yankees fan and something big happens, like there's a 3-run jack off the foul pole, I need energy. And you mentioned Joe Davis and the energy he had.
Hell yeah.
Where's the energy in a home game from an announcer on the broadcast? You should have the exact same energy, but I can clearly tell you right now. And I honestly, I don't usually go down the road of bias. This is one of the more clear cases. It's just not close. It's really
everybody, even
ridiculous.
People that aren't Yankee fans, are like, all right, I'm tired of this guy's little shtick. You know, he's like a WWE announcer where it's like he always roots for the bad guys. That's what it sounds like. He's always rooting against the. It's ridiculous. Yeah, Joe Davis, the whole. If it's fair, it's his moment. The way he captured that, like, dude, that was honestly one of my favorite postseason calls, and there have been a lot of good ones. That was awesome.
He was on the screen. My wife goes, "That's what that guy looks like," because she heard his voice. And Joe Davis has the and it's a ball outside, like that.
Yeah,
typical voice that somebody would have.
He's like always calling your Eagles games. I notice
he is.
You just can't get away with Joe Davis.
No, I can't.
He's always in
Joe Davis looks 40 years younger than he talks. He sounds like a seasoned vet of baseball, and he is. I mean, how old is Joe Davis?
Hey, keep in mind, Joe Davis was the one they chose to fill the shoes when what's his name, Vin Scully passed. So
Joe Davis is 37. This man is 6 years. I mean, yeah, he looks incredibly young. He doesn't sound 37.
He's great. I love his voice. I think it's perfect because it's like, it's one of those voices like an Al Michaels, like a Joe Buck that can work for multiple sports. That's what I
completely agree. I mean, Google tells me he's 37, so I'm pretty sure he's 37. But Hitman, thank you for the super. And Paul, our favorite man from the UK, thank you for the 5. Says, great game. 4:45 UK time. Captain Judge, the MVP. It feels so good to say this and just not have to think about that anymore, because Jake, you were on the side of batting average. He's getting his hits. I was on the side of I completely agree with what you're saying, but he needs to have his moment too. Paul puts it beautifully. He had his moment. Great all-around performance. You saw the defense in right field. I actually thought Aaron Judge played a perfect game tonight. Let's go Yankees MVP. And take game 4 and then go clip those Blue Jays wings in their yard. Paul, I mean, could he have played a better game?
No.
I don't think he could have.
Maybe not grounding out at the end of the game like that, but
sure,
now we're getting picky.
If he didn't dive and catch that ball in right field, it was a run, right?
Yes.
If he doesn't hit that 3-run home run, we don't come back, no chance in the world, right? You don't usually watch a baseball game, especially if you watch baseball like that and you have any experience in this, you really know one player isn't just this isn't basketball where you can go out there and just control the game. Aaron Judge controlled this game. He put his stamp on the game. He finished the game off. with his defense. I thought the way he played today, the base running, seeing the ball down in the outfield, not trying to be over aggressive and run yourself into an out. Aaron Judge was perfect today. He just was.
Yeah, he was everything that you could ask for out of an MVP. And then, of course, I see Cal Raleigh hits a home run. They're up 8-1, and it's no different than Chris Paul hits a fadeaway down 40. Like, it's like, okay, the game was over. You know what I mean? Aaron Judge changed this game. That's what people have been asking him to do. He has these homers, he has these moments in the regular season. That's why his high leverage numbers are insane. But people have been saying he needs to do this, and it's like, he's the MVP, man. I'm so over hearing about it. But at the same time, you got to give a lot of credit to Cal Raleigh as well. I think Aaron Judge is clearly the MVP. Love that Welkin brought back an old school thing here. Aaron Judge bludgeoned the monkey off his back. And there we go. There it is.
Welkin, well done. By the way, Jake, did you know that Aaron Judge has 11 hits right now? That's a career high in the postseason already.
Did you know that yes, that's insane. Did you know that he's tied with David Ortiz for the most home runs in an elimination game?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a good thing. It probably means he's part of a lot of elimination games. I mean, we know David Ortiz was.
But that's wild,
David Ortiz was a part of 4 elimination games in 04 alone.
That is stepping up to the plate, right?
No, it definitely is.
Yeah, so we can admit that. I mean, and to be fair, the game 5 against the Dodgers. Mm-hmm. He was ready, man. He came. I feel like that doesn't get talked about nearly enough. It's because he dropped the soft liner in.
Well, it's
center
fair.
field.
Yeah, if you drop a fly ball in the World Series, I mean, it sucks. It undoes what you did, but
it's so frustrating because I still remember Joe Davis's call. Sleeping giant has awoken. It's just like, But that's the thing. You have a chance to go back there. You have a chance to do that. I was just so happy for Judge because I think it's been fair, the criticism. It has. But just because it's fair doesn't mean you don't feel bad for the player. You see A-Rod go through, his issues and whatnot in the postseason and how people stop to look at a guy who's going to hit, 700 home runs and, be one of the greatest players ever. They stop looking at that, and now they're like, well, he can't get it done in the postseason, so I don't care. It's going to nullify all 162 games he's going to play over a 15-year career.
Ruins the whole journey.
I hate that, but I also understand it, right? And that's the thing. I'm happy for Judge because I also don't think this is just I think we're talking the same way that you lose a game brutally and how it can absolutely crush your spirit and then you can't recover.
Yeah.
This exact thing, Judge going through this at this point in time where now you have the batting average, now you have the slugging, now you have the high leverage, the big moment, right? Judge can build off this. And if Judge is building off this, what the hell is that? Because if he's already hitting 500 and you just said he has 11 hits, what the hell comes next? And we're about to find out because Aaron Judge, if they are going to come back and complete this comeback, and do it for the 3rd time the Yankees have ever come back down 0-2 in the ALDS. Well, ALDS and the World Series. They are going to need Aaron Judge to build off this. That's the reality of it. And I think he's going to.
Yeah. And guys, again, please be sure to subscribe, like the video. I actually really like this super chat from Slim Lewis because it really is questioning our title of this episode, which I love, by the way, because I think it encapsulates really what you're saying, Jake. Now, Slim, again, thank you for the 5, says just break out, and that's in quotes. Judge was hitting over 400. He was hitting 444 coming into this game with the Jays pitching around him, and that's true. They were nibbling, right? He's been great. So Slim says he's been great, but looked like the GOAT tonight. Okay, Slim. In the minds, in the eyeballs of everyone now, at the end of today's game, tonight's win, no one has any questions about Aaron Judge anymore. We're not going into 2026 and saying, is Judge going to get up off his ass and hit in the postseason because they can't win without him? That's no longer a conversation because just about 5 minutes ago, Jake, we were talking about he's hitting 444. That didn't impress everybody, right? It didn't impress me. Did I say it was good? Absolutely. I mentioned that getting hits in October is one of the hardest things you'll ever do. But also, when you come up in that at-bat where the team really needs you to come through, bases loaded, nobody outs in game 1, we need you there. You just have to flex your muscles. And I understand it's tough. It's a lot of expectation, but it's the reality of the job. When you're the captain of the Yankees and you're the highest paid player on the team, we should expect you to come through in those moments. And I understand, Jake, you said it feels unfair. It's such a short sample size. You're right. But you see it now. In Game 3, we finally come back home to Yankee Stadium. He gets his shot, down 3, multiple guys on base. He hits a ball off the foul pole. If that ball goes 2 feet left, it's a foul ball, and it probably changes the end of that at bat. And then people go back to thinking, oh, see, Judge just doesn't come through there. But it hits the pole, and now he does come through there. So, Slim, this is a breakout performance in the eyes of now all fans across the landscape. Jays fans, Yankees fans, both sides of Yankees fans, the cynical Yankee fan, the positive Yankee fan. Now every single Yankee fan looks at Judge and says, oh, he's our best player in October and in the regular season. It's just that simple now.
Yeah, and when I was creating this title, I wanted to make it something that I thought told the story, but it was also something that was thought-provoking. Yeah. And he broke out of his postseason chokehold. The average was there. And I was, like you've already mentioned, I was clamoring for people to start respecting that. But when he came through in that spot, we texted each other. I mean, this is your moment. Now capture it, right? It was so obvious that this was it. If he didn't come through there, the Yankees are going home. That's why it is so important that he came through there. I understand it was only the 4th inning. No, Gary, I'm telling you, if he didn't come through there, the Yankees, we're talking, hey, thank you, fans. Like, you know what I mean? Like, sending all those graphics out. It's over.
Did you like my tweet?
Over. I love your tweets, as always. But
yeah, somebody sent that to me. I was like, hey, man, can I post this? They're like, absolutely. I posted that thing right away.
It's so funny. But no, like, do you agree with that? I think, is that a fair statement if Aaron Judge
if Judge doesn't hit if Judge doesn't hit a home run there, the Yankees lose. Now the Yankees have momentum. The Jays are not happy about how that just went. Because now they have to do both. The Jays have to protect pitching to keep it in their back pocket for Game 5, but they also simultaneously don't want to play with their food in Game 4. They want to go win on the road. Not easy to do.
You don't want to do what the Dodgers did, because they were like, oh, yeah, we're just going to, give you a bullpen game. We're not going to use a starter. Gave the Yankees some life. They were dead in the water. They're down 3-0 in games that they should have won. And then they come out, and Volpe hits the home run. You start to see, you're like, oh, crap. Okay, this team we'll see you tomorrow. And then the next game, the Yankees come out, and you saw that momentum. You saw that fire. It took the 5th inning from hell for that to slow down, and even still, they were still in that game. So that's really what it comes down to, I believe, is that there's a reason for everything. There's a reason for all the decisions you're going to make in the postseason. But you have to understand there is a cause and effect. There is a pro and a con for whatever decision you choose to go with. And I think that's the important thing to note, because there were people that were like making fun of the Yankees, like, oh, well, you're beating up on our bad bullpen guys. They're not even our good bullpen guys. It's like, you're not understanding. So much of sports is mental. When you get to the playoffs, a lot of it becomes mental, probably more than ever, right? So now you're giving these guys any bit of life. All of a sudden, you've given the Yankees a life raft. And now we see it in Game 5, and they get off to that lead. They blow it. We know that. But it took some crazy inning where they blew that. Because guess what? If they didn't blow that and the Yankees win that game, now all the pressure's on the Dodgers. The Yankees are like, we're playing with house money. No one thought we'd make it here. They go to Game 6 in L.A., and now let's just say it's a fluke game. Gets all weird at the end of the game. They win by 1 run. Now they have all the pressure because house money, it's a Game 7. It's a winner take all.
It's how we felt in 2004. It's
exactly
mind
how
you,
it went in 2004.
When it was 3-0, you had the Kevin Pillars. You had everybody saying, we're not going to look at this from a standpoint of winning 4 games in a row. We're going to look at it as tomorrow night, Friday night's game. We have to find a way to win Friday. They win Friday.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we've got the day off. We'll see you Sunday. and we have to find a way to win Sunday's game. And they continue to look at it that way, and you're like, oh, 3-0. Okay. All right, 3-1, who cares? 3-2, all right, well, we really want to win this game. We don't. And I look at that 0-4 Yankees team, and I think, how the hell did this baseball team lose 4 baseball games in any series? How? You just don't know. Well, it's just momentum. That's all it is. And by the way, I said I do think the Jays were the better baseball team. Just the way they play against us, this style, how the style translates against Rodon, putting the ball in play often. They're trying to miss bats. Rodon can't miss bats against the Jays, right? Cam Schlittler struggled in his first start, and obviously he's a different pitcher today, so we'll see how those adjustments play out. Fried can't pitch against the Jays. Can't do it. So there's a lot here where Jays fans can say, no, we're still confident we can go out and win a Game 4. You should be confident. But you shouldn't feel as confident going back to Toronto, knowing that you just dropped 2 games in a row and you have to pass the ball to a rookie, because I do believe Schneider's going to keep him back. Yeah, what's up?
No, I agree with you, but I dropped a poll because I was curious where the fan base is right now.
Okay, yeah. What is the poll, by the way? I don't even see it.
Predictions: Yankees in 5, Blue Jays in 5, Blue Jays in 4. So 85% so far, and obviously it's going to change, but have the Yankees winning in 5. Then you have the Blue Jays winning in 5, but nobody has this game ending tomorrow, this season ending tomorrow. So I find that really interesting. And, well, now it's 2%. But I find it interesting. I find it interesting because it kind of goes to show you our audience are not a bunch of homers. They're not. No. I think our audience is very real. There are some people that get, maybe overly excited. Maybe myself, I get a little optimistic. But at the same time, I don't feel like we have a bunch of homers in the chat. So look at the change in the vibes. Look at the change in the attitude. They could very well lose tomorrow, right? It's absolutely possible. I don't think it's going to happen, but stranger things have happened. That said, what this win did, if they had won this game from start to finish, 1-0, 2-0, whatever, I don't think it has anywhere near the poll, ironically, because that would actually make you feel better about Rodon, but Rodon isn't going to pitch again in this series. So now I only feel good about the future with Rodon. Now I don't feel good about the future with Rodon, but the here and now, I'm like, yeah, it sucks Rodon didn't pitch well, very much sucks, but in the short term, it put the Yankees in a spot where they had to dig down deep, and this offense stepped up. And it's like one of those things where it's like, man, they went 6 for 12 with runners in scoring position. That is absolutely insane. And this is the thing, again, it feels like a tone change here, Gary. I don't know about you, but I've seen in the comments section, it's not we're going to win it all. It's not we're going to win the series, but it's no longer Blue Jays in 3, Blue Jays in 4. It's
that makes sense.
It's gravitated towards Blue Jays in 5.
Yeah, because when you lose Game 1 and Game 2, also the context of losing in the fashion, Jake, that we lost. Those games were not good baseball games. I called it embarrassing this morning.
No, they were not good at all.
Embarrassed ourselves. It actually reminded me a lot of the Dodgers series earlier this year, where everyone said it's a rematch. They've disrespected us. The Yankees are going to Dodger Stadium. We're gonna get our lick back here. Just at least show that we deserve to be on the field last year in the World Series. We're also without Juan Soto. We're here to prove something. We showed up to Dodger Stadium and laid an egg. Will Warren was horrible. Rodon was horrible. Fried was horrible. All in succession. They were terrible in that series. Bad. None of the games were good baseball games. None of them. By the 7th inning, they were all just a wash. What game does that remind you of? Oh, yeah, Game 1 and Game 2 against the Jays. We scored against their bullpen, but those runs weren't high leverage. We were just out there doing exhibition.
Well, Game 1, show up and they had a legitimate shot in the 6th inning. They score their first run, the walk. Judge doesn't come through with the bases loaded. You text me immediately. You're like, that was the game.
Yeah, that was the moment that the Yankees had to flip the script in the game. And then when it didn't happen our way, the Yankees were going to lose that game. Of course, they go lose it. But Game 2 was just such a nothing burger. You could have turned that game off right away. And now that the Yankees have shown, all right, we have to get, when we're getting really, in my opinion now, given how he's pitching, Cam Schlittler's our ace. I don't think Max Fried,
Absolutely.
Rodon, none of them deserve. If Cam Schlittler now is rested for a start, I'm pitching him.
100%.
He's my choice. Fried just hasn't earned that. Carlos Rodon hasn't earned that. He had some big starts last year in the postseason, but Jake, how can we, in good faith, tell our audience that, oh, it could go well if you pitch Rodon? We've seen it go well. Well, we've seen it go well for Will Warren this year. Should you pitch him? No, you shouldn't. You have to pitch people who have a baseline of consistency, and there's really nobody in our rotation outside of Cam Schlittler who has consistency, which is why my prediction to start the series was that I don't trust Fried. I don't trust Rodon. And I came into the series thinking Schlittler was our ace. I expected the Yankees to lose this series in 5. I know I've changed it. I had us winning in 5, and then I saw, right, you see what Savage did, and I switched it to losing in 5. So I'm going to stick with that. I think we get back to Toronto. Are we dead to rights just because that was my prediction? No. But we would have to do something much different than what we did in Game 2 if we want any chance to win that game.
I think it's really if they get to a Game 5, it is all up to Aaron Boone. This is when you really are going to have to manage, because this is when you actually have to manage the game. You can't just sit by an autopilot and be like, yeah, well, my ace is on the mound for 7 innings. He won't be. Like, he's going to have to be very cautious in who he takes out, when he takes him out, who he puts in. And, yeah, I think it's going to come down to Aaron Boone. But that said, if this offense continues to hit the way it is, and that's a big if, but if it does, they're not going home. I'll tell you that right now. If this offense continues to hit the way they are, they're not losing.
Yeah, I hope not. Hitman with the 2 burned into the screen says Boone did a good job managing tonight, in my opinion. I completely agree. We talked about the good he did. We talked about some of the bad, but we didn't want to harp on it because you win the game. That's your job. And so we're going to see tomorrow, what they do. Does Ryan McMahon start? Do they stay in the game? They were very aggressive getting McMahon out of there. And I think part of that aggressiveness was the score. They felt like any and all opportunity we have to score runs, we just have to go score them. We just have to. And that was the way he did. It was an aggressive approach from Aaron Boone. At least he was consistent of being aggressive, getting guys off the bench in a hurry.
I just wouldn't have done
makes sense. No, I completely get that. So Hitman, we do agree there.
That was so early. Ryan McMahon's like, did you see him on the bench? He's like,
I did.
Yeah, and I get it. Yeah. I get it. But you know what that also tells me, to be fair? I don't think he wanted to start Ryan McMahon today. I think that was also kind of him like, you know what? I'm feeling good about Rosario. Maybe he saw him in batting practice, liked what he saw. You know what I mean? Like, you don't typically make that move if you don't see something ahead of time, if you weren't thinking about it. That was clearly on his mind because, people would say Rosario is a really, a serious defensive liability. I've pushed back on that, as you know. I think he's much better in just a one game, over the course of 162. Fine.
Yes.
But in one game, I don't think he's going to cost you. And I mean, he did kind of on that one play, but I thought he was fine. I did.
I think the plan was that Ryan McMahon, if he's going to start at third base, he's in the game for a close, somewhat low-scoring game. We're not expecting Vlad Jr. to go out there and beat us. We're going to nibble around him. They expected Rodon to pitch well in this game. Well, if the Yankees are up 4-2, 3-2 in a game, who the hell you want at third base? You want Ryan McMahon at third.
Agreed.
You don't want an error causing the tying run to the plate, and all of a sudden a squibber to the outfield scores that run. You're like, damn, Rosario shouldn't have been there. But when you look up and you see 6-3, what the hell is Ryan McMahon's defense going to do for you at third base? Put someone's bat in there. And I think that was the decision that they made. And I thought it was the right decision. Did it work right away? No. But in hindsight, they find a way to win. Hitman, thank you for the super. And Guy with the 2, really appreciate that. Guy says that first walk was a killer, had to pitch to Vladdy. Why? Why? It was a 2-run home run. They walked, okay? They walked Schneider. There's now 1 run on base. Why did they have to pitch to him?
No, I think he's saying it was a killer that they had to pitch to Vladdy. Like, really? You had to pitch to Vladdy?
Is that the tone of that? I mean, perhaps it is. Yeah, there was no
That's how
reason.
I read it. But Guy, could you explain in the comment section how were you for pitching to Vladdy? Because I mean, I just didn't see a way to there's no way.
If the bases are loaded, you have to kick yourself for putting yourself there.
I'm good I'm good at yeah, he
reading
wanted to pitch around him.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. Okay, great. So yeah, Guy, we completely understand you now. Thank you for clarifying. It's nonsensical. It's nonsensical that was the decision that the Yankees made. If you have the bases loaded, similar to the situation Judge was in Game 1, yeah, then what are you going to do? Vlad Jr. gets the opportunity. If you want to walk him like he's Barry Bonds, then you can do that. But that's bold. That is bold. And in an elimination game for the Yankees, you probably don't make that decision. Ed W with the 2 says, AL East revenge tour lives another day. I've told my wife like 2 separate times, I'm like, hey, tonight might be the last night. Hey, we might be screwed. And we live to fight another day. These boys will not die.
Yeah, you got to give them a lot of credit, the heart that they've shown. And, yeah, I mean, also to be fair, like the offense is stepping up in a big way.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that you'd be sitting here with a rotation that was dominant during... I mean, they had one of the best rotations in baseball this year. And Max Fried's postseason ERA and WHIP. Are you ready for this?
Wait,
6.75 ERA.
Max Fried's?
And a 1.82 WHIP.
Let's talk about these two real quick here. So, Ed W., thank you for the super. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about what is this? Because I'm looking at our live, and I see best regular season rotation, okay? Alex Rodriguez got on the Fox broadcast, and he talked about accumulating stats in the regular season. How sometimes the way that a player plays, they're a power guy who likes to walk. They have a lot of swing and miss in their game. Same thing with rotation. Like, they're not big-time stuff, but they miss bats in the regular season. They can accumulate stats, but you don't trust them in postseason. So, Jake, is this rotation regular season merchants? Like, what is your perspective on this group? Because Max Fried is objectively, not even my opinion. You can read the stats yourself, Jake. You just gave them those stats. There's no pitcher with those numbers in October that's good in October. So what do we make of these two starting games long-term? Because they're both inked to long-term contracts. Max Fried's a damn Yankee for the next 7 seasons.
You're just hoping.
What do we do with this?
The only thing you can hope with, and this is just copium at this point, but right, you're hoping that Max Fried, Carlos Rodon, this is because it's the Blue Jays. You're just hoping that because of the way that they go about their business at the plate, that's just causing havoc. Because if this is who they are, they can't win a World Series with this rotation. They just cannot do that. Carlos Rodon's ERA is a 4.50.
Okay.
And 1.17 WHIP. Will Warren's, he should never pitch again.
Oh, in the postseason?
Sir, he has 11.57 ERA.
Okay.
And mind you, that's 4 2/3. And a 1.71 WHIP.
So we're looking forward to... Now, mind you, you're only saying this not because you think it's true, but because it's the only possibility left. It's all there is. If this is going to work, you just have to believe that Fried and Rodon just cannot pitch against Toronto. And then we're going to go pitch against Seattle, and it's just...
Yeah, so
you can't pitch against
the guys
them.
that we signed, they can't pitch against one of our arch rivals.
Can I say one thing, though, in their defense? And this is like a slight defense, like barely any defense. So take it with a grain of salt. Technically, Garrett Cole could not pitch against the Boston Red Sox. He has never pitched well against them.
That's true.
So
that is true.
If Garrett Cole was on this roster and healthy, I think we can all agree he would be our ace, right? And considering that, if we were going into that Boston series, would there be anyone saying he should not pitch game 1? No, they wouldn't. Now, yeah, you might have some people, I guess, in the comment section and be like, oh, I'd pitch him game 4. Okay. Garrett Cole would pitch game 1 because he's your ace. sometimes certain matchups just don't work. I do think it's a little odd, though, that Fried never pitched well against any opponent in the National League. Never in the postseason. Then he comes here to the American League, and the number one team we have to beat, which is very clearly the Toronto Blue Jays, this is this year's Houston Astros, if you will. They're going to have to go out there and beat this team. We've talked about them all year, the chase. We get here to October, and you're like, oh, yeah, they've got your ace's number. Oh, yeah, and by the way, they've got your two's number as well. It's really disgusting.
If you look at Max Fried back when he was with Atlanta, he destroyed Toronto.
Yes.
Even last year, 8 strikeouts, 7 innings pitched, 5 hits, right? Like, then to start the season, 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 run. Like, he looked really good in April. Toronto, I felt like really came into their own the next time Fried faced him in July. So what I'm trying to say here is I don't think this is one of those, I don't know, I see the logo and I just freaked the hell out. I can't pitch against that team. I don't know. I don't think it's that. I think it's this iteration of the Blue Jays.
Yeah, the style, right?
So, yeah, it's stylistically, they're going to be hard for anybody. But when you're like Rodon hunting for strikeouts, right, it's going to be hard. Like, that's the thing where I'm almost like we've already seen Schlittler get beat up by this team.
Yes, we have.
But he didn't have, and this is the thing, he didn't have the sinker at that point. And so now he has the sinker. Now he's coming off his best start of his career. He's gotten better like each start. I just feel like he's learning more. But on top of that, unlike Rodon, I feel like Schlittler's good at managing his pitch count. Like, really good. And so
it's only going to improve with the sinker now because it's no longer strictly 4-seam cutter curveball.
Yeah.
He now has the sinker that can induce contact. So I think the pitch count, even more to your point, is going to be in a positive way. Like, I know you said you don't expect Cam Schlittler to go super deep into this game. I agree with you. I think Boone is not going to get Schlittler out of the game in a hurry, but there's definitely an opportunity where if the Yankees have a lead and there's any trouble at all, he's going to go to those core 3 or 4 guys that you saw today. I think, and I honestly can't even say it's the wrong decision in elimination.
Would you try and do something like a CC Sabathia where you have him, you pitch Schlittler not a lot, and then you bring him in for Game 5? Because I honestly think it's that bad, Gary, with this starting rotation. I don't think it'd be a bad thing. Like, if say you get
says so much about Max
world.
Fried. It says so much. The fact that you're even asking me that.
I know. But the perfect world, let's just say a perfect world, right?
Yes.
Yankees get off to a 4-0 lead.
Yes.
They look good at the plate, and the Blue Jays aren't hitting, they're not hitting Cam. It's tough to take him out. But if you take him out and you feel that confident that you're going to win this game, like your offense is whatever. You put in Doval, whoever, Will Warren. No, not Will Warren. Excuse me. Tim Hill. Although Will Warren at home, I don't know what he would do.
No, but I see your point. You find a way where you have confidence in the Dovals, you have confidence in the Williams, the Bednars, and you can bridge the rest of the game. Can you bring Cam Schlittler out again for Game 5? I say probably not.
Yeah, it's
probably
too
not,
tough.
man.
This isn't like and I agree with you, and that's why it's like I'd love to make it work. And I was joking about this. I'm like, oh, don't mind me. I'm just here trying to find a way that Schlittler can pitch Game 5.
Yeah, and then he could pitch Game 1 in the championship series as well. Like we don't have. There aren't really many good options. This is the beauty in signing the big free agent, right? When Blake Snell and the Yamamotos, those guys become available, this is the attractiveness of going to get guys that you can potentially trust in October. And guys, I'm going to be honest with you. When you sign a player and you find out, oh, this guy's a lemon in October, and you have him inked to a 7-year contract, you can be awesome in the regular season. Max Fried was great in the regular season. He objectively cannot be trusted right now. So if you're the Yankees and you told somebody at the beginning of the season after they made the signing, Max Fried's going to start game 5 for you in Toronto, you'd be like, cool. All right. I'd probably sign up for that. Who's pitching for them? And they go, oh, a rookie. And you'd think to yourself, oh, they must have the advantage. No, you'd be wrong. This is a major disadvantage. And we're talking about, do we bring a guy who wasn't even on our roster to start the season out of spring training? Do we bring him out on 2 days rest? Now, the answer is no. Could the Yankees do it? Yeah. I didn't think that Madison Bumgarner was going to pitch game 7 of the World Series when he did, but we've seen crazier things. But at the same time, that was at the end of the road. I think if we were in the World Series, you could potentially see Cam Schlittler do something like that.
What about Buehler? So like Buehler last year, didn't he pitch and then the next day he closed?
Yes, which again, you're talking about the last hurrah. This is the World Series. He's not going to be on a roster next year.
That's true.
We have to empty the clip, man. We're not in a position to empty the clip. If Cam Schlittler goes out there and we throw him on, say, potentially here, right? It's not going to happen. But if he does pitch 2 days rest and something happens where he now needs a week off, the Yankees may as well just pack their bags, hit the showers, and go. No chance, right? So they have to protect themselves on the backside here. Max Fried should open the game, and you get him the hell out of that game. The second anything happens, you get him out of that game and you get your bullpen in there. And I want to get up Super Chat here.
I wish Will Warren, by the way, could be trusted. Because right now, no, hear me out. Obviously, I don't trust him.
No, rightfully so.
But right now, wouldn't Will Warren be a freaking dream? If you could trust him at home, like, because we know he's way better at home than on the road. If you could trust Will Warren and you get through that game and then you're like, just flipping him off, and you're like, guess what? You guys have to face Cam Schlittler at home. Good luck.
I don't trust Will Warren to sit in the dugout. I don't trust him to do anything for the Yankees the rest of the time.
Not in the postseason, no.
Nothing. No, and because people would listen to this, and I'm sure somebody listening today would be like, oh, this is my first time listening to the show. These guys must hate Will Warren. No, we would really encourage you to go listen to our past episodes about what we think about Will Warren in the future and how he can develop. The time's not now. He's not at that level to pitch in these games. And by the way, Joe Davis brought something up before we get to these super chats. He brought up actually something I thought was super valuable to Yankees fans. Something that was really overlooked and understandably overlooked. Mm-hmm. In game 2, when the Yankees are getting the break speed off of them, they threw Will Warren. He's given up the grand slams and the stadium. I mean, literally, we couldn't even look at a still frame of Will Warren. The camera was shaking. The crowd's just going so berserk.
That was insane.
You just had to feel sorry for Will Warren. I mean, it's just a horrible situation to be in where they're like, hey, just let him beat the brakes off you. But Joe Davis was mentioning essentially what we talked about is I text you the second I saw the ball exit off the bat of our starter, I said, it's Will Warren time. Sure enough, Will Warren is behind jogging out of the bullpen. Will Warren comes into the game. And he was able to help protect our bullpen so that Williams, Bednar, the guys like Dope, all these guys who are our high leverage guys, we'll call them our high leverage guys, our circle of trust guys, they weren't forced to work in game 2. There's value in that. So credit to Will Warren for going out there and taking it like a champ. Just going and doing that ugly job that people said that Marcus Stroman maybe could do. Just go out there and get lit up. But Will Warren went and did it. And now our bullpen at least is set up to just go 3 days in a row. And we can also use a potential day off in front of a game 5 to our advantage. So credit to Will Warren, despite not pitching well, at least he helped us out. Yeah,
that was a big component, and I think those are two. Yeah, I mean that's a great point. You know, it sounds like kind of loser energy, but hey, you know, it absolutely kept the bullpen okay. It was a sacrificial lamb, if you will, but it kept the bullpen good. And on top of that, there were two good things that happened in that 13-7 blowout. The offense got going at the very end. Now you can bring that into Yankee Stadium, and they did. And the bullpen was protected. I mean, the perks of blowing a team out and like dominating them is you get an easy win, and then they have to use up their bullpen. We have hit
their bullpen, by the way. I mean, we've also hit their high leverage guys, so they can't. We can't sit up here and act like
Garland was huge today. Varland is good.
They brought in Varland to face Giancarlo Stanton. He blew him away earlier in the series, and they're like, that is what it looks like against our high leverage guys. And we're like, touche. But then when he comes into the game and gives up 2 tonight, don't tell me anymore it's not about high leverage. No, they did it against your high leverage guys. So the Yankees are having success against the relievers. The Yankees have to do a job of getting the relievers. The good news here, Jake, they're starting with their relievers in Game 4. So
they've used a lot of relievers for being they've used a lot of relievers for being the lead, taking the lead early on. They have led every game to start, and they've used way more bullpen than the Yankees. That's wild. That's an interesting thing. That could come back to haunt them. You look at Varland, you look at Fisher. Fisher's got a 9 ERA. Varland's got a 6.75. Fluharty has a 9. Little has a 5.40, and I don't even know why they bring in that Nance guy, 13.50. And then Rodriguez has a 0. And I think the Yankees,
he's their Weaver.
They had a hard time. Yeah, they had a hard time hitting Rodriguez, I noticed. So that is one of. But there you go. Rodriguez pitched today. So is he going to be as effective tomorrow? Do you have him tomorrow? So those are the things that you got to look at because, yeah, it is interesting for a team that really dominated this series to this point, took leads, led most of the innings. If we want to talk about the innings, Toronto is led what? Judge tied it in the 4th, right? So Toronto has led 21 innings.
That is absurd.
And it's only 2-1. Like the series should be over. You led 21 innings. And so despite that, you go back to Game 2, it's Brule, who gets smoked, 54 ERA. Fisher, who pitches well, but then you just use Fisher. Lauer gets smoked. Nance is a human victory cigar. He gets smoked. Fluharty, you used him today as well. So you used Nance and Fluharty and Fisher. And then Varland, who looked great, you had to use him today. Sir Anthony Dominguez, they've used everyone. Who am I missing? Yeah, I'm pretty sure they've used everyone in their bullpen. You go back
that's about everyone.
Yeah, that first game, right? That first game, they still end up using. So Gausman pitches well. They use Varland. Varland throws 16. Sir Anthony Dominguez pitches. Little pitches. Jeff Hoffman. Jeff Hoffman is the only one that has gone since Game 1 and hasn't pitched yet. So they have their closer, right? But at the same time, Gary, it's an interesting thing, and it goes back to Will Warren being the sacrificial lamb here. Like, Schneider's kind of overusing this bullpen from what I'm seeing.
I do get why it's happening because it's so damn if you do, damn if you don't. Because if he wasn't, they'd say he's not being aggressive enough and he's playing with his food. We also saw Joe Madden do this in the 2016 World Series run. He was just using Roldis Chapman was being used like a dog. Every time they were throwing him, they threw him 3 innings at one point. That is ridiculous. And he was saying, "I'm going down with my big guns. I'm just doing it." And he ends up throwing 97 miles an hour. When have you ever seen a Roldis Chapman throw 97? Never. He's 37 years old right now. This was in 2016. He doesn't even throw that now. And he threw a
105 now.
It's ridiculous. He threw a 97-mile-an-hour fastball to Rajai Davis. He was exhausted because of how much he was being used. He gives up a home run, game tying. You think the Cubs are just they're going to lose that World Series, and of course they don't. But yeah, how much guys are used obviously changes their level of effectiveness. Apex, by the way, Jake, I wanted to bring this to your attention with the super here with the 2. It says K says Jays would be stupid if Gausman and Savage pitch tomorrow. Yeah, they would. It's too obvious
just not to.
If they both
pitch tomorrow, what?
No, I think what Apex is getting at is if either pitch. If Gausman pitches, stupid. If Savage pitches, it's stupid.
Well,
by the way,
I mean,
I wanted to ask you
though.
Tomorrow. Oh, start the game. I mean, that's fine.
Yeah,
I don't think that would go well, but I wanted to ask you. I went on YouTube, and I've been doing this, right? I'm a frequent watcher of YouTube, and I noticed there are a ton of people who post Michael K's. Well, the Michael K show, which he does a great job. Yep. They literally just clip his show and put it on YouTube.
And make money off it. It's weird.
Do they get paid for that?
Yeah, they do.
Why would you get paid a dime for that?
I don't know. It's so weird. You ever notice they do that with like ESPN and all that? They'll like slant the video so it can't like detect. You've never noticed that? Some of them are bad. Like
they should just send the FBI to your door right away. Why would anybody be able to record Yankees Unloaded and then post it on YouTube and be like, "Oh, hey, I made $88 from their video that did well." Why would you make a dime? That doesn't make any sense.
No,
I've never understood it.
They literally say without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. Cannot be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. They say that every time.
How do they have to say that? I mean, do they say that
Yes
like
Network.
McDonald's? They're like, don't burn yourself with these hot French fries. It's like, what the hell do you think? They give you a hot coffee. It's hot.
Well, did you hear when that one time where Michael K was like, "Oh, I forgot to say it almost. I was really worried because people could have been disseminating without me."
It is so beyond dumb, the protections that people get. If you repost people's videos on YouTube and you get paid money, this is different than like a Clipper.
Wait,
because
Varland is starting tomorrow?
Is this confirmed?
Is that confirmed? Because he's pitched in every game. That I don't know if I agree with that.
I will say the day off, because there is a day off, right? Obviously with the travel.
Yeah, but what if he just gets blown up? He's pitched in every game, Gary. What if he just gets blown up?
No, I know. Well, they know
understand
that. They are just probably saying we need to pitch somebody. And we're going to pitch our high leverage guys because the last thing you want to do is throw somebody who's not high leverage as an opener. And the Yankees get out and take a lead in game 4. And now you're asking yourself, do I throw my high leverage guys to keep the game close? Right? That was the question with Will Warren. There were people who were like, the Yankees started scoring. Why did Will Warren come in the game? Because he got the game so far away that we couldn't catch up. It's like, Aaron Boone had a job. Do I go after this game by bringing it and keeping it close with Bednar and Williams and whoever else? Or do I just let go of the rope and live to fight another day? Boone decided I'm going to live to fight for game 2. It didn't benefit us until game 3. The Jays don't have the leeway now. If they play it safe in game 4, you're losing game 4. They can't do that. So I think it makes sense. You're not really in a position. They're short starters. They just are. They've dealt with injuries all year long. They obviously made the big move going to get Bieber. He didn't go long today, but it's damn if you do, damn if you don't. If you go aggressive tomorrow, people are going to say how tired are your guys, and if you go conservative tomorrow, it makes it seem like you're just punting to go to game 5 and win in Toronto. Neither choice seems like a great choice. So advantage Yankees there.
Varland officially will start.
Wow.
Yep. So he's
okay.
He's going to start. Blue Jays reporter for MLB.com, Keegan Matheson. Shout out to him for having the news. Varland will start tomorrow for the Blue Jays.
Right, which is an aggressive play. In my opinion, it's the right play. You have to be aggressive. You have to come out, take the Yankees offense out of the game, and try to go up there and put another lead up, similar to what you saw today. And they're going to go aggressive. If you're up 2 or 3 runs going into the 8th inning, you may go see one of their top flight starters come in the game. You may see a Gaussman come into this game and try to bridge to the end of the game. They cannot afford to lose that game. They know that. So, yeah, I definitely think this is a really interesting series here. Now, Ness with the 5. Really appreciate it, Ness. Thank you. Says, not a big fan of Rodon. I mean, well, who can blame you? Hey, regular season Rodon's pretty good. Mentioned it in the chat on Sunday. Cam won't pitch past 6 innings tomorrow. Blue Jays will be pesky. Bullpen better be ready. There's actually, Jake, nothing wrong with not pitching past 6 innings. That's part of the beauty in having the strategy that the Jays have. If you're patient at the plate and you put the ball in play, pitchers can't last more than 6 innings. That's the beauty in it. Scientifically, they're going to throw about 105 pitches to get through 5 or 6. That's how it works. That's why Gaussman came post-game and goes, I'm not really sure why the Yankees were so aggressive against me. It was a little strange. I was confused by that. He was able to go deeper into his outing because of our aggressiveness. Made no sense. So I agree with Ness. There's nothing wrong with that. Bullpen needs to be ready. Completely agree.
I agree completely as well. And Fishman, thank you for the 2. What was that awful catcher interference call? So here's the deal. I don't think I've ever seen a team, and this includes football and basketball. I don't think I've ever seen a team who gets screwed over, not by the refs, the umpires, no.
Yes.
They get screwed over by New York. How many times this year have they challenged something that you see and you're like, oh, that's going to get overturned? They're like, yeah, it's inconclusive. It's going to stand. Like, what about his bat going, like, you see the bat going, like, it literally.
The broadcast said,
oh,
Jake,
my goodness, dude.
They are saying that maybe he didn't commit to the pitch in a swing. I said, that doesn't matter.
It hit his glove. We were talking about how silly catcher's interference is, but that being said, it's still a rule. Like, it might be silly because you could just be like, oh, yeah, I wasn't going to get a hit anyway. I'll just hit the catcher's glove. But
the Jacoby Ellsbury, yeah.
Yeah, but Gary, we all saw that. That was so obvious. That's such a bad call. And, dude, I commend Boone for not getting thrown out because I'll tell you right now, I don't know if they win if Boone gets thrown out. They needed him to stay in there. They really need him to stay in there the rest of the way. You can't get thrown out of these games. I understand you want to have fire. I get that. It's nothing against Ausmus, but it's just not the same. You go in with your game plan and everything. You know, I'm glad he didn't get thrown out because, man, his blood was boiling, and I don't blame him.
Yeah, those aggressive moves that you saw with like McMahon coming out the game, the bench coach is not going to be aggressive with his substitutions. You're just not. You're going to sit there, and if there's maybe a bunt situation, you'll weigh in. But when it comes to substitutions, they're going to go with the basic cookie cutter decisions. You wouldn't have seen the decisions that you got. And some of the way that Boone used the bullpen down the stretch, I thought was the key to how this game ended up playing out.
Absolutely.
I know you questioned, right, with Devin Williams. He probably doesn't make the exact same decision. So we have no idea how the game went. I completely agree. It was an awful, awful call. And the Rowdy Rattel, thank you for the 5, says, we've watched Aaron Judge flounder in October since 2020. That 2020 season, what a weird year. If you believe in due, Judge is 5 years overdue. That home run might open the floodgates. Guys, the floodgates are open now. He's raking. This is what you're seeing Vlad Jr. do. He's raking. He's putting on a show. Aaron Judge's putting on a show. Aaron Judge's hitting 500. It's not, I don't know what Vlad Jr.'s hitting. I think it's like 800. But they're both just cartoon characters, just hitting every time they go up to the plate. And Judge now looks like regular season Judge. So those conversations of being Mr. May, I better not see that anymore. That's dead. So retire it, put it away. Could he have a bad series in the championship series or next year in a division series? Yeah, but it has nothing to do with coming up small or any of that stuff because of the stage that he's on. It's just not. So let's give Aaron Judge his credit. If you want to call it overdue and he's finally figured it out, Jake, we made the prediction this was going to be the year for Aaron Judge to finally look like the MVP. Oh, God, he looks like the MVPs. Well, he and Vlad Jr. are clearly the best two players on the field.
Oh, yeah. And, again, just a reminder, if Judge doesn't hit that home run, they're likely not playing tomorrow. So, yeah, regardless what happens here on out, Judge hitting that home run. I mean, if they come back and win this series, do you know how many times they're going to repeat that? That home run will be on a loop.
Yeah, I'm probably going to... I haven't watched it a ton. I know the Yankees posted a video on their Twitter page, and it was showing me the third base coach. It was literally blocked by their coach. I'm like, this is so Yankees admin. They're terrible. With all due respect, they are garbage.
No, it's the camera behind the foul pole. Did you see that one?
I didn't see that. No. I didn't see it.
They have some really cool angle, and then they have random ones where it's just like, oh yeah, here's Luis Rojas. Like, no, I don't want to see him at all. Like,
it was literally Luis Rojas in focus, and Aaron Judge is like, I don't know, for those of you camera guys, he is blurred in the background and hitting a ball. I'm like, so the greatest hitter of the generation is blurred in the background hitting a home run, and I'm looking at one of the arguably the worst third base coach in baseball.
It's like that iconic picture of Kobe going against LeBron in the All-Star game.
This?
and you see like stupid freaking Drake.
Oh, it's like, with all due,
so
Drake's a
bad.
good artist. Get these people out of that picture. It is Kobe Bryant and LeBron James. They should have photoshopped Drake and all the rappers that were sitting in the first row. Get those jabronis off the set. They honestly should have just made it a blank, like almost a green screen.
I don't even like Drake. So the fact I'm hearing you say that, and I know you like him, is just, it's so validating.
There's a time and a place for a Drake. There's a time and a place for those people.
Like,
well,
dude,
they gave those tickets to them for free. They ruined the picture. So yeah, Luis Rojas did ruin that angle, but I'll have to get the other angles. But Rowdy, thank you for the super and supporting the channel. We both really appreciate it. Scott Ross with the 5 says, inning 1 tomorrow. If Cam's in the same spot, man on first, 1 out, do they let him go after Vlad? Okay.
They're going to let him go after Vlad.
This is a great question.
Yes, it is.
I'm going to make the assumption that they do, because you have to keep in mind, Scott, there's 2 ways you can look at this situation. 2. 1, you can say pitching to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. gives them an opportunity to essentially really get the first punch off, just like they did today. Or you can set the tone that Cam Schlittler isn't Rodon. He's not Fried. He's going to pitch to your guy. And if we get the out in the first inning, what's the crowd going to look like after that? Now, I'm not encouraging this. I'm not telling them what they should do with their game plan. Me personally, I think if you're in a situation to pitch around Vladdy Jr., and I don't mean pitch around, I mean don't let him even have a chance to take the bat off his shoulder, that's what I would do. But if you do get him out, there's also a major reward on the other side of that, and it's establishing that I'm not afraid of you. I'm a different level than these 2 other guys that you saw. So, Jake, what do you think about that? You just said that you think they're going to let Cam pitch to him. I agree with you. I don't know if it's the right call, but I do agree.
They're going to let Cam pitch to him. And you know why? It's totally mental for me. It sends kind of a mixed message. Hey, you are our Lord and Savior. You know, you just had 8 innings pitched. You absolutely shelled everybody, right? Just completely shut everybody down. And now, even though you're a big reason why we're here still, and you advanced us, we don't think you have what it takes to go up against the best. I just think it sends the wrong message. So, like Rodon, it was one of those things where historically Rodon has awful numbers going up against Vladdy. And it's no different than Cole and Devers.
Do you feel the same way if we walk Judge? Like if they just walk him the whole series, do you feel the same way?
Yeah, they should walk Judge. I would walk Judge every single at bat. I want to win. I don't care about people spending money in attendance. I want to win.
Right. So they look at it as, because that's what we heard from Michael Kay. He was like, why don't they just walk Aaron Judge the entire season? And people said, and the answer that people have given us all year long is that egos get involved. And not like in a bad way, but you're giving up in that moment. It may be the smart thing to do, but I just want to throw the punch. I want to see if I can win the fight. And you get knocked out and knocked on your ass, and you're like, oh, I guess I shouldn't have picked that fight with the best player of the generation. Vladdy Jr. is in that conversation in this series. He's playing like a generational player. There's just no doubt about that. It doesn't matter who we throw at him. He's a threat. So
he's Freddie Freeman right now.
He is as good as advertised. He's not swinging and missing. He can make quality outs if he needs to. He can put the ball in play whenever he wants. He is not to be pitched to at all.
Why they keep pitching to Freddie Freeman? You know what I mean? That's how I would look at it. Every time Freddie Freeman came up, he did damage in the World Series. Every time. Why did they keep pitching to him? And keep that in mind when you're discussing this. If you felt like Freddie Freeman every time was doing damage, every time he came up to the plate, why, when we're watching what Vladdy's doing, why would you even risk it? So
there's not technically a reason to risk it. You just risk it against the next guy. If he hits a home run, some much lesser player who is not going to the Hall of Fame, if he's the reason you go home because you walked potentially a future Hall of Famer in the postseason, then you go home. That's just as simple as that. And by the way, I wanted to put this up on screen. We are getting to your super chats. We have a lot tonight, so we're catching up. We're definitely working on it, but we really do appreciate the super. So we're getting to it.
I know you. Demal is they dropped that super 22 minutes ago. They're supers from almost an hour ago. So we'll get to it. Trust me.
Because we also we want to keep the flow of the show and like what we were talking about, as well as keeping up with the supers. But HS with the 2 says Schlitt is the ace. I completely agree. He's the ace of the team. Yeah. And I understand people would say, well, what have you done over the long term to earn that ace status? Well, what's Max Fried done over the long term in important games? Cam Schlittler has already done more than either pitcher, any pitcher in our rotation has done in October. No one has ever done what he's done in that wild card series. So let's put some respect on Cam Schlittler's name. Obviously, HS is doing so. And Jake, I know you agree. Jersey Girl with the 2 says, do you guys think we should keep Cabby at third base? What do you think we should do at third? For me personally, I think, again, same answer I had when Cam Schlittler pitched the finale of that Boston series. I want Ryan McMahon's defense at third base for the young player. I don't want any mistakes to compile with a team that puts the ball in play. Right. So what would you do with Cabby?
I'd play him at short over Volpe.
Shortstop. Interesting. No, I actually think that there's some legs to that. I can see him playing, but... Well, actually, I shouldn't say I see him playing. I don't see the Yankees making that choice to play Cabby at shortstop in this game. Volpe, I think, gets the start, but I don't blame you for thinking Cabby should start at short.
Yeah, no, Volpe was key and critical early on in the postseason, and now we're starting to see him kind of revert back. 3 strikeouts today. I mean, and my thing is, you could have really good at-bats and still have 3 strikeouts, but
yeah,
he just looked outmatched. So I don't know. Like, they were joking about in the comment section, like he needs another cortisone shot. I mean, he might. I don't know. I have no idea. Because it just... Doesn't it feel like his swings look more ugly than ever? Like on the strikeouts?
I mean, to be fair, swings look like Trent Grisham, for example. He took a huge at bat tonight. Trent Grisham's swing since the beginning of the wild card have looked atrocious. You just really can't look good when you're not getting on base hardly ever. It's hard to.
That is true.
Now, Volpe did play well, right? He played well in that Boston series. But I don't know. It's difficult. I think I like the defense. He's saved a few games for us in October already, so I think Volpe plays. Scott Ross with the 5 says, best tweet I saw tonight, Rodon $27.83 million, Fried $27.25 million. Is that their salary or their ALDS ERA? Oh, oof. God.
That's not good. Well, at least they're not,
it's a lot of money.
If the NBA was on tonight, I'd say, oh, was that the score, or was that Luke Weaver's ERA? Because it's in the triple digits, season. Y'all.
Yeah, this is a weird season. I think when we came into the year, we expected Rodon, especially as we went halfway through the year. I think a lot of people said he's shown us in big series, the small series. Other than the Dodgers series, Rodon and Fried really answered the bell. Like, they were coming through. As a rotation, I was really most disappointed with our bullpen and what our offense was doing in the June swoon. It was a major, it was bad. Major red flag. We have the big trade deadline. We bring in 3 or 4 different arms. A couple of them are duds. A couple of them are great, like Bednar. But, yeah, I don't know, man. This rotation is just something else. Perry Anthony with the 5 says, how do you get Schlittler in Game 4 and piece an appearance in Game 5? There has to be a follow-on ace after Fried. There's just no way to do it. Unless, again, Perry, the only way possible is if the Yankees go out and score 6-7 runs with an avalanche against the Jays. You come out and score off Varland, and they go to maybe a mid to low leverage guy out their pen. They flip a lefty out there. We hit a couple home runs, right? It's a party at the stadium. And you say, do we pull him and just kick him over? Because
I still don't feel like I would do that. I feel like that just counting your chickens before they hatch. I understand there's a level of strategy
Yes.
But like, make sure you get there before you start talking about what you're going to do when you're there.
No, but it's a good point to bring up because,
of course, absolutely,
because the Yankees don't have a viable option to pitch Game 5. People are going to listen to this and say, "Oh, you just don't think Fried can do it, or Rodon physically can do it." No, we know what they can do. That's why they're going to play the game. But can the Yankees trust anybody outside of Cam Schlittler to go out there and give them some type of baseline performance and keep them in the game? The answer is no. So Perry essentially is saying the only guy we trust is Schlittler in the starting rotation. How do we just allow Schlittler to pitch both games? And the answer is you don't. Unless you score 10 runs in the first inning, you're not going to get the chance to make that choice. And I'm telling you now, that's not going to happen. So just understand, we're just for all the marbles. If we win Game 4, he's going to have to take the ball, and we're just going to have to pray.
Yeah, and Apex, thank you for the 2. Matt Blake's fault. Fried, Rodon, Weaver lose versus Toronto, ? Not really sure what's going on here. Is this a statement and a question? Matt Blake's fault. Fried, Rodon, Weaver lose versus Toronto.
Do you put any responsibility? Because mind you, Matt Blake can take the positive side, right? We implement the sinker with Schlittler and his development.
Yeah.
The fastball improvement during the regular season of Warren. We always talk about what Matt Blake does because we're major fans of Matt Blake on the show. Mm-hmm. But I've also said, in fairness, you don't just get to get the positive stories. You also have to hear the Loizaga stories. You also have to hear the Rodon in big games, the Fried in big games. The failures you can't be absolved from all the failures. And you just get to hang your head. Right? So how much do you place, right, essentially the unraveling of Weaver, Fried, and Rodon have not make any adjustments?
Though. That's my issue. Like, Weaver's is mental, Rodon's is mental, Fried's is mental.
Well, how do we, but that's the thing. Part of the pitching coach's job is to control the mental side. That's why we do pitching. I'm going to go out there and make a mound visit. That's the whole point of a mound visit, is to, just like in a boxing match, to be in the corner with a boxer. They're only there for the mental side. That's it.
Yeah. No,
so
that's true.
You're responsible for what happens. If you don't tell your fighter, hey, he's got this left hook, and he goes out there and gets knocked out with a left hook, that was part of your job. Now, I can blame the fighter all I want to, but Fried, Rodon, and Weaver, and I'm gonna absolve Weaver from this conversation because Weaver had an injury and was not the same since that injury, that hamstring injury. Fried and Rodon are healthy, all things considered. They're not banged up. So I will say Matt Blake has to do at least a better job with the two of these guys. Not overall, but these two guys, you got to find a way to make them effective here, right here in the short term. Rodon is now done for the series, but Fried has got to be better if he pitches again. Has to.
No, he does. I mean, Matt Blake deserves credit. He deserves blame in some cases, but I don't think it's a lot of blame. He had Rodon looking better than he's ever looked, in my opinion. He had Fried back to where he was supposed to be. Devin Williams, that's a tough road, and he's had Devin Williams looking really good in this postseason. Same was, we were just talking about Doval, Camilo Doval. I mean, he was awful, and yeah, it's just like, it just feels like he worked on it a little bit, and now all of a sudden we're getting great results from him. And there are a lot of guys like a Fernando Cruz who he's 35 years old, not really a lot to him, and all of a sudden, he's looking good. And I get it. I think if I'm more annoyed with Will Warren because, yes, he was the sacrificial lamb. He took on all that, but at the same time, hasn't been hurt this year. Like, Luis Heel was, I don't think he's 100%. Maybe not mentally at the very least. And Will Warren has pitched the whole year, and he came out, and again, sacrificial lamb, that's great. But he got mauled. So now he did his job in a sense, like he just took a beating and kept the bullpen out of it. But at the same time, Gary, there's one thing that I can't stand about that. Now you don't trust him. You don't trust him to pitch again. So he could have been a weapon, and now I don't even know if I would keep him on the roster because it's like, what's the point? He's not going to start.
He's just a punching bag.
Yeah.
Because now we're at the point of
him.
the series where the Yankees can't afford to have a punching bag inning or a game.
No.
That's now over and done with.
We talked about this with the Dodgers series. You can't have
so now,
that.
So
it
now
ruins the game.
Those guys are just, they're rendered useless. Warren's use was in that game too. So obviously we talked about it. It was a major positive, and it didn't help us then, but does help us now. 27 Silva with the 5. Thank you for that. Says, I was at the game. I mean, so was Ninja as well. I don't know if you knew that, Jake.
Oh,
Ninja
nice.
Hot Dog was at the game. Silva says, I was at the game. We went absolutely stupid when that ball hit the pole. I mean, it looked like it. You know what actually reminded me of, Jake? It reminded me of that Mark Teixeira home run. Do you remember when he hit the walk-off and everyone froze? I think it was against Minnesota. And no one reacted in the crowd until the ball hit the pole. It was one of the weirdest home runs in baseball history. I don't know if this rings a bell to anybody else, but I think he was hitting righty. It was extra innings down the line. And it was off the pole. No one moved a muscle, dude.
I just kept thinking back to when Aaron Judge crushed it over the pole in at George Steinbrenner Stadium, and I was like, "Oh no, don't give me one of those reviews. Like this needs to be a home run." And yeah, hitting off the pole, I think added extra to it. So I'm glad that happened. Man, that was scary. Jazz Chisholm also threw that bat faster than I've ever seen anybody throw a bat.
It looked like a video game.
All in that one motion where he comes through and then just like tomahawked it. It was wild.
Which was good because he was really... He was pretty bad in this series so far.
Told you we'd get to you.
Yeah. Welcome aboard. Thank you for the 2. Says, who do you start if we get to a game 5?
Max Fried by default, but he starts 3 innings tops. Unless he looks great.
We don't have enough guys out of our bullpen to make it a bullpen game. I wish I could say we did, but we only have guys that like, for example, if Luke Weaver was in the circle of trust and anyone, and I mean any of the 634 people who are in here, if anyone thought Luke Weaver could go out there and be the multi-inning guy like he was at all last year, we probably just say, hey, Fried's going to go out there for an inning or 2. If he gives up 1 run, we're pulling him immediately. Throw Weaver out there. He's going to go multi-inning. Doval probably comes out multi-inning. Williams comes out, gives you 3. Bednar's going to go multi-inning. We find ways to get those outs. But now that Luke Weaver is just an absolute shredded lemon, we quite literally are forced to throw one of our starters, which is advantage Blue Jays. It is an advantage. But we've got to use momentum to our advantage as well and even this out. So I'm curious to see how this goes, but it's a great question.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. And then Toronto, our resident Jays fan in here. Jays do very well versus both these pitchers. It's matchups, in my opinion. That's interesting. And yeah, I just feel like it's copium for me. I'm hoping it's just the matchups, but I don't know, man. It could just be. It could be the postseason. We did extensive work on every single free agent that we felt the Yankees could go after, and you and I kept going back to the fact that Fried could not pitch well in the postseason at all. And he's going to have to get by that. And it's probably going to have to be game 5. Either that or it'll be next year. We're hoping it's game 5.
Judge did it. I mean, Max Fried's not in the same breath of a player as Aaron Judge, but Aaron Judge, Alex Rodriguez, they were both dismal in October, and then they flipped a switch. Now Judge is no longer a problem. That's not even a conversation at any point now in the future. Max Fried's going to have the same story. We just hope he figures it out sooner rather than later, and we don't have to wait 5 years. Jeff J., who's been a member for 13 months, so Jeff, thank you.
Says, you, Jeff.
We just need to have 4 cams. Thank you for the great recap and deep dive into the team. Jeff, we appreciate that. Says this series and what the next 2 games should look like, and we really appreciate that. Yeah, we would love to have 4 Cam Schlitlers. Maybe we have a Paul Skeens this offseason. You never know. Maybe who's the dude from Minnesota again that we talked about?
Joe Ryan.
Joe Ryan. I could see that as well. So, Jeff, thank you for that. And Ed W. with the 5, who's also a mod here at Yankees Unloaded. So thank you, Apex, as well. Thank you guys for doing so. Says, maybe we're better off with bullpen arms who miss bats. Bullpen struck out 9. The contact starters have struggled more and struck out almost no one. So I
like
love this. Ariel Epstein joined our show.
Yes.
Right. Earlier this year. And she told us, it was a little unrelated, but hang with me here. She said, guys, steer clear of Max Fried and the overs on Ks. He strikes guys out, but he's very unpredictable with strikeouts. And I think we figured it out. The teams with the game plan of I'm putting the ball in play, he doesn't have the type of stuff or command to strike those teams out. But the teams, if he goes and faces teams that are built more like the Yankees, like more like the Minnesota Twins, who really don't care if they strike out, they're just trying to hit home runs, which I guess it's a strategy. He'll get strikeouts in those games. He'll give you double-digit Ks. But when you see teams like the Toronto Blue Jays who've committed to putting the ball in play, they'll slap the ball the other way. They don't care. All of a sudden, guys like Rodon, who've implemented the sinker into their game, Rodon, that was the pitch he added, was the sinker. And then you look at Fried, the sinker was already in his game. He's not missing any bats against Toronto. So, yeah, Ed, I think that's a great point to bring up. Jake, what do you think about that?
Well, you remember what I said after the Dodgers loss in the World Series. I said, I'm tired of pitching to contact. I want relievers that can just miss bats. And so now we're seeing that. Bednar, strikeout pitcher. Devin Williams, strikeout pitcher. I mean, Luke Weaver, but he's getting blitzed. Fernando Cruz, strikeout pitcher. Doval, strikeout pitcher. I definitely think Ed is onto something here. And I think, we're seeing, I mean, there's definitely some weaknesses in this Blue Jays team. I do think that I'm really curious. I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm really curious about Trey Savage, and the fact that he hasn't really gone through, like, the way Schlittler went 8 innings. Mm-hmm. He could have in a couple of his starts, and they've opted not to. And there's a reason for that. So if he isn't going to go, like, I keep going back to that, Gary. I thought it was strategic, them taking him out. If they just truly don't trust him to keep going, the Yankees are showing you against this bullpen, they can get after them. Every single one of them. So,
the bullpen. Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I thought it was the right choice what they did with Savage. Don't overwork him. This game's over. Yeah. I would probably say the Jays are a better team than the Yankees, but the Yankees have more depth of guys that they could just throw out there. Like, even when you go into that Game 5, the Yankees aren't going to go into any of their games and say, we don't have anyone to pitch. It's going to be a bullpen game, right? We're going into a bullpen game. Bieber pitched. He got into the second inning today. So these teams, they don't necessarily have the depth that you would like to have in these series. This is a short series, by the way. Imagine if the Jays had to play this series in a 7 game. We would see multiple bullpen days in a 7-game series.
Was healthy,
it's crazy.
They'd probably already won the series, if I'm being honest.
100% agree.
So
100% agree with that.
To be fair, that's a huge loss.
Yes.
Scherzer's terrible. He's done. So if Scherzer pitched,
he's 40.
I was hoping Scherzer would pitch. That'd be an easy one. But yeah, no, I'm not ignorant to the fact that Bassett destroys the Yankees. He's a really good pitcher, and they're missing him. And I mean, this series would have been over. So I'm glad he's not pitching. I'm not glad I'm not glad that he's injured, but I'm glad he's not pitching because just pointing that out there, giving the Jays their credit, we know Bassett is legit. So, yeah, it's interesting. Toronto's saying that Trey can definitely be wild, command issues. Yeah, I feel like he had the element of surprise a little bit. I still think he's legit, 100%. I think he is the real deal. But it is interesting, like, if the Yankees do force a Game 5, what are we going to see out of him? What are we going to see out of them? And again, is he going to go through 3 times through the order? Are they going to pull him before that happens? Here's my thing. If we don't see him tomorrow, and if we don't, in any capacity, and we don't see Gausman, then they're probably going to start you Savage and then go to Gausman to end it. That's probably what they're going to do.
Technically speaking, the Yankees should be the most patient, given how they've hit against this Jays bullpen, totally high leverage guy or low. when you go, you have to believe you're going to win game 4. You just have to believe that. If you go win game 4, and again, I'm trying to give the Jays credit here because they very well could win game 4. But if the Yankees win that game, they've got that card in their back pocket, which is Trey Savage. It's the advantage. When you go into that game knowing I've hit their bullpen, high leverage or low, you should be the most patient team. Remember those one pitch at bats we were talking about with Trent Grisham? Guys, your sole mission should be taking pitches and going deep into counts. You may strike out, and I believe you will. But you have to have a game plan that's we're going to work this starting pitcher where eventually he's going to have to come out of this game in the 5th or 6th inning, and we're going to have 3 cracks at it coming through our lineup to go score against their bullpen guys, which we've shown we can do. That, to me, is the game plan. And when Gausman comes out, and if he pitches, and you, as you mentioned, Jake, you think Gausman could come out there and they can go double-barrel action there, you just have to believe you can hit Gavin Gausman because we have. We've hit him before. So that's my mentality on this. This isn't Randy Johnson to Kurt Schilling, but Savage is pretty close. He's working on it, right? So it'll definitely be a fun game. Everyone's going to be watching that if we get there. But game 4 should be rocking. I'm sure Ninja Hot Dog's already got his tickets.
So I think Scott Ross is saying that Toronto wins tomorrow 6-1. Because that was the last game against Boston. They had Varland go 2 innings. Oh, no. I see what you're saying. I absolutely... You're not saying that result is necessarily what happens. You're saying we're going to go up against Varland. Mm-hmm. They already did this against Boston. Varland had 3 strikeouts in 2 innings. Took him out. Then Lauer, Matt Lauer, Eric Lauer. Just had to,
I knew. I had a feeling you were going to go there.
Yeah. So Eric Lauer went 3 1/3, 2 strikeouts.
Okay.
Then they put in Rodriguez for 2/3 of an inning, then Fisher, then Dominguez, then Little, then Hoffman to close out the game. I think if they do that, that is dumb.
We've hit a couple of those guys, and Hoffman's not here.
I'm sorry. I actually don't agree with the way they're doing this. I think it could come back to bite them. I think they should start Gausman tomorrow, and I think this is a mistake. I just want it to be on the record. I think this is a mistake. I think this is the Dodgers doing that bullpen game, but the Dodgers did the bullpen game up 3-0, and Toronto's doing the bullpen game up 2-1 in a short 5-game set. Like that's just I think this is stupid. I want it to go on the record. I think this is dumb.
So you think, Gausman should be the guy. I would probably agree with you because I know we expected Gausman to go pitch game 5. That's where it lines up for the 5 days off. But if you know your best pitcher, their ace really is a rookie with no experience. That's the truth. And he's the best pitcher of the series. It's he and Cam Schlittler, really. 2 rookies. So the Jays know their best pitcher is slated really for game 5. You should throw your second best arm. That should be your answer. Then you can go to Varland. People could say what they want about Varland and him giving up runs, but he also pitched well against Stanton earlier in the series. So I don't have a problem with them using Varland and bridging whoever they want, but to start him is a little odd. So Scott, thank you for the super. And then Yankee Fangirl for Live says, how about starting Cruz? I did see this in the live chat as well. So thank you for the question. Cruz is too wild for my taste. He just is. I agree
completely.
I don't want to see... If they pitch Cruz, I'm probably just going to close my eyes and just listen to the broadcast and hope. Listen to the crowd and hope that I hear something good. Because Cruz, I'm proud of the fire he has. I love just the mentality he has on the mound. I love everything about that. But his mentality of how he goes about his business, just 2-0 splitters and pitching backwards... Doesn't care if he walks guys. He's trying to miss bats. I get the mentality, but in the postseason where one walk, a 2-out walk can turn into a 2-run homer in the flip of a switch, I don't think Cruz is the guy for the job. I can't see it.
So this is what we're looking at when it comes to Schlittler. Last time he definitely got mashed.
Yes, he did.
No home runs though, which is interesting. But he gave up 10 hits, 4 strikeouts. 4 walks. I mean, Varsho had a hit. What was it? Barger he went 2 for 4. Clement went 1 for 3. Vladdy Guerrero went 4 for 5. I'm not pitching to Vladdy. Not pitching to Vladdy at all.
Yeah, well, we weren't. So, okay, so what we've learned, Fried can't get Vladdy out. Rodon can't get Vladdy out. Schlittler, in his last start against Vladdy, and he said he was tipping pitches. That's his opinion. He couldn't get Vladdy out. So you know what we've learned? Will Warren wouldn't be able to get Vladdy out. Let's be real. Well, actually, we just saw him give up a grand slam. Nobody that we have that throws a baseball gets Vladdy out except for guys in our bullpen in very short sample sizes. So there's no reason for anyone to pitch to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. You couldn't pitch to his dad. You shouldn't pitch to him. Don't try and talk yourself into this being smart. It's not smart. Just don't pitch to him.
Luckily, he's not his dad, because his dad, you would try and pitch away from him, and he hit it off the rug.
You could throw it at his head, and he'd hit a home run.
Yeah, it's so stupid. I remember that like it was yesterday. All right. It's our favorite time of the show. Voicemail time. All right.
How many we got, by the way?
We got
I'm going to guess
4,
4?
3, 4, 5, 6.
6 voicemails. Damn, it's a banger.
7, but Mark told me not to read one of them, so.
That's fair.
Yeah. All right. So we'll start off with Guy. All right, here we go.
Hey, everyone. Hour and a half before game time, just got in. Haven't read anybody's comments anywhere.
This should be wild.
The only prediction I have tonight is for the Yankees that they better win. With this lineup, they need to hit home runs. The time for learning small ball was in spring training. I know we played a little bit a few weeks back with the right players, but they're not playing. Small ball, that's not who the Yankees are. Cashman and company built this team to go out and hit home runs, and we have to live or die with that this playoffs tonight. Not so home runs, meaningful impact slugging, getting doubles, hitting with runners in scoring position. Jazz has stunk. Trent's awful and should not be leading off. Hopefully he did something tonight. Belly, just get hot, please. Stanton is awful. Is he done as our modern Mr. October? Judge, please just get the big impact hit and shut everyone up. And lastly, why is a true professional baseball player, Goldie, not starting? They have the dumbest leadership. I just don't understand them at times, but they're much smarter than everyone else. We know that. By the way, most people don't want Goldie back or expect the Yankees to bring him back. I wouldn't mind at all. How about pinch hitting for Rice? How about mentoring Rice for another year? And then he could play some versus lefties. Maybe perhaps when Rice is also catching or resting. It's a no-brainer to me. All right. Thanks. Want to listen to your thoughts. And great show tonight, by the way.
Thanks, Guy.
Thank you.
I love that last part. That made the entire voicemail for me. But no, I think when it comes to the Yankees and Goldschmidt, it's a tough proposition here because you've seen Ben Rice have some big time hits. Obviously, they don't win that game against the Red Sox without him. So that's on one hand, but on the other, it's like Goldschmidt clearly, when he's up, he just looks like one of the best hitters, pure hitters that they have on the roster. But it's like, so now you're not going to play Rice, or are you going to catch him? But Wells is hitting well now. So it's like, it's tough. I mean, really, the funny thing is, Stanton hit well today. But I mean, if Stanton was bad today, I think I would have just gone with like Goldschmidt as the DH or Goldschmidt as the first baseman, had Rice at DH.
Yeah, no, we really haven't seen them do a ton of that either.
No.
But, when I look at our lineup, how it was built, because Guy mentioned the way our lineup was built today. They're built to hit home runs, and he liked the lineup. Now, I want to say one thing about this lineup, because if you look at how this team is built in terms of the order, you see, and Cody Bellinger, Guy was asking for Cody Bellinger to just hit. He went 2 for 4 today. Cody Bellinger has reverse splits. He hits lefties.
Yes.
He's okay against righties, but he does his damage against left-handed pitching. So Aaron Boone knows if I build the team and have Bellinger slotted in the 3 spot and I've got Ben Rice in the 4 spot, teams are not going to be able to go to left-handed pitching to face a Cody Bellinger. They've got to bring a new pitcher in to see Rice. What's most likely? Ben Rice is to see a right-handed pitcher because they want to put right-handed pitching against Cody Bellinger, and it tees either player. No matter what you do, one of the 2 players is going to get their ideal matchup. And so I think that's really what they want to do. If you play Paul Goldschmidt and you put him, say, in that 4 spot, let's just say that was the decision you make. Well, if they throw a right-handed pitcher, that's the best thing that you could throw at Bellinger and Goldschmidt. So now all of a sudden you start seeing hard-throwing right-handers against the top of our basically our lineup, and it starts working. So I get why they're doing this. When you look at the platoon jobs and what they do against each side, left-handed pitching, right-handed pitching, I think Rice makes a lot of sense in our lineup. Defensively, it doesn't make a ton of sense, but I think given what he does with the bat, they're just making the expectation that we're not going to give up on him because he's coming out a little slow in October. We're just going to trust that he's going to figure it out. And to be honest with you, Guy, I don't hate it. I don't, because I think if the Yankees are to go where they need to go, Ben Rice is going to have to start to hit.
I agree with that. Interesting thing here I saw in the comment section about Goldschmidt being effed over because, he was in the first 4 slots and then was hit out of it. It is interesting because Goldschmidt, he's at his best when he's hitting it 4th, 6th, or 1st. Anything other than that, he's not hitting well. It's weird. He's hitting 282, hitting in the 1st spot, the leadoff spot. He's hitting 309, batting cleanup. And he's hitting 299, batting 6th. Now, one thing that's interesting is that we talked all last year about how Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, and what that meant for Aaron Judge, what that meant for Juan Soto. And we saw that. It's is that what Trent Grisham experienced this year? Hitting that high up in the order? Is that what we just saw? Because I was actually thinking about this. And, this kind of brought it up even more. Because when you look, so say Trent Grisham, he's leading off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Trent Grisham has 23 home runs leading off. He's also hitting 202. And
he hit 202 leading off?
He hit 202 leading off.
Okay.
Now, his on-base percentage was also 325. So, he hasn't actually been a great leadoff hitter. Isn't that kind of wild?
I just think Trent Grisham is built for regular season baseball, and that's still formidable.
Yeah.
But what he does in October doesn't translate. He can do something. If he hits a big home run in an October game, people are going to be like, see, you thought he couldn't do it. No, I did think any of these players can do it.
He's capable of that.
But being consistently a threat is a different story. Do I trust Trent Grisham to take consistent October at-bats? No, I don't. Right? Same thing with Anthony Volpe, right? Ryan McMahon, same type of deal. We need consistency in October, and I think there's a certain style that works. And Paul Goldschmidt, a lot of what he does offensively works in October. The situational hitting, I can just slap the ball the other way. I don't need to do too much. That's something that Trent Grisham might do, but Goldschmidt wouldn't. So, yeah, we're in an interesting spot. I think we're so far down the line, though. None of these guys are going to come out the lineup. It's not the time for adjustment. It's just not. Now's the time where we've kind of put 2 feet in the sand with these players that are playing. Guys, expect them to play again. You might get a minor tweak like a Caballero, but even then, I don't even see any of that.
No, I think that's fair. Yeah. No, I do think that's fair. I think for me, I just want to see better at-bats at the top of the order because the way I'm seeing is I think Grisham's looked better. He's working counts a little bit more than he was earlier in the series, but
yeah,
they can't have that again. They just can't have that again. They're going to be going up. I mean, obviously the bullpen game, you got to get after the pitch counts and get into the bullpen. If you get deeper in the bullpen, I don't care if they have a day off. That's still going to affect them. I think people forget that. It still affects pitchers, even with a day off, if you get into them. That's why, like, if Varland goes tomorrow, which he is, he can't go Friday. So he pitches 4 games in a row.
Well, I guess he could. I mean, we're going to pitch Bednar for 3 games in a row. They're going to all pitch 3 games in a row.
Yeah, but Varland
Williams too.
Is multi-innings. That's the thing. Like, Bednar's your closer. So, yeah, I don't know. But what I do know is that we got plenty of voicemails that we got to get to because this is going to turn into another Quentin Tarantino film.
It already is. Yep. Let's roll.
It already is. Yeah. All right. Ninja Hot Dog.
We won. We're alive. That was one of the great games. That was the amazing game to go to. I'm here with a very close friend of mine. Say hi. Hi. Hello. Hi. Yes. Friend of mine. We went to the game together. We're very excited to see Yankees New York. If I can make it there, I'll make it. Anywhere, it's up to you, New York.
I miss the stadium.
New York.
I know, dude. It's such a nice feeling to be there.
So I think we should. What is our plan? What do we think we should do with the starting pitching for tomorrow?
Hitler, Schindler, Hitler, all game.
All right.
Schindler, Hitler, have to go as long as you can. Save the bullpen for game 5.
Yeah. I apologize for that name. But yeah, Split tomorrow for game 5 is weird.
They're gonna probably do Green or Heel, but I want Radon.
Yeah, Radon might be the best choice, honestly, right now. I mean, he has more. I don't know. I just don't want Frigg. Definitely not Heel. Either Frigg or Radon. But definitely Slittler tomorrow. I cannot believe that. I thought it was done. I was fancy fire catching in the stands, but we made it. So remember what I told you to say at the end of every voicemail?
Oh, fire baboon.
Fire baboon.
Fire baboon.
Fire baboon.
Fire baboon.
Oh, man. It sounds like you had a great time, Ninja. I love that. And being at a game like that, I feel like anytime I go to the stadium, it's some crazy shit that goes on. Like, I don't know why. Like, the game always has to come down to the wire. The one we were at was a laugher, and then all of a sudden they made it a game, right?
Out of nowhere.
And just, I don't know. But his record when he goes to Yankees games is awful, so keep him far away from Yankees postseason baseball.
Yeah, what a game to go to. So Ninja, thank you for the voicemail. Who we got next?
And we got Kyle Malay.
Buzz Lightyear.
Hey guys, Kyle Malay here. Gosh, that beginning of the game was awful. I can't believe the Yankees actually came back. Judge had his moment. Like, who says he can't hit in the postseason? Like, he had his moment tonight. He got to keep going. And let's win game. Hey, go to bed. Let's go win game 4 tomorrow and get it back to Toronto. Like, that was a hell of a game. My neighbors probably hate me because of all the screaming, but yeah, let's all have a good night. Let's win tomorrow and go to game 5. Oh my God. I got a freaking headache. All right, you guys have a good night. I don't know how much more I can take of this team, but hey, a win's a win. Let's all have a good night and go Yankees.
Can't send your kids to bed after a win like that.
No.
They get to stay up late after that win.
I'll never forget the Texas Rangers game. They were up 9-0. My dad told me to go to bed. I said, they're going to come back. And he's like, no, they're not. And they came back and they won. So, do you remember that game?
The Texas game?
Yeah.
Not really.
It was in Texas, I'm pretty sure. It was crazy.
Is it the team was that the team with Nick Swisher?
I think so.
Because if it was, I feel like
Mark knows. It was the Posada home run. That was the game.
Oh, Mark was at the game? That's crazy. Mark's a time traveler.
Mark, was that in Texas or was that in New York? Might have been in New York now that I think about it. And if you went to the game, it was probably in New York.
You don't want to be this guy, by the way. Yankee Fangirl for Life says a guy sitting next to us stood up and said when it was 6-1, I'm going home, and left. That's where anxiety hits you. That's not really fans giving up. It's just that it was Texas.
Texas. How about that?
Yeah, so
memory's not shot.
More so, the fan didn't want to be there for the final blow. That sucks because that game turned into so much fun. It did. It felt tied when we were down 3. That's how electric that game was. So, yeah, good thing you guys stayed.
What was the game? I mean, it just happened when I was at SoFi. Like, the Rams looked dead in the water after Kyron fumbled, and they came back and tied it up and then went to overtime. Rams fans had already left. I mean, not all of them, but some of them in my row. But no, I'll never forget what the crazy Josh Allen comeback. Didn't they come back from like 25 and half of the Bills stadium was empty?
That's just how fans are. It's just how it is. Some fans are like, I paid money, I'm going to be here. We've talked about this. But then there's other fans that are so stressed, they don't want to be there for that. Like, I'll tell you right now, if I was there for the final out of this game, you didn't want to be around me. That's why I told you, I'm the type of fan that wants to watch the game by themselves. It's in the off chance that I watch a game like this and it ends in a loss. I've been on this side of it many times. I'm not trying to be sitting in a crowd of people watching Trent Grisham strike out on like when I saw Verdugo strike out on that ball in the dirt in the World Series last year, I was livid. I was so mad.
Yeah, let's not get into Verdugo.
It was horrible, right? So I'm not. We got a scroll in our hands. Get it started. Who is it, by the way?
Listen, I don't know if you guys have played this voicemail, the first one, but I love to be proven wrong. I left a voicemail in the second when we went down 6-1 and things were looking awful. Because let's be honest, they weren't looking like they wanted to play. They weren't giving effort. Jazz not paying attention to the runner at third going home. It looked like, like Belly wasn't really hustling for those balls. Rice wasn't really diving to the first base, and that led to runs. But then, what happens? The Blue Jays gave us some errors, starting with our New York Yankee IKF.
Finally helping us.
Honestly, Judge willed this game into victory. He literally willed this game into victory. There's no way to explain it any other way than that. The momentum, everything, just Judge came to play. Judge led. It showed and it sparked the rest of the team. But we can't have bad starts, man. I'm not concerned about Cam Schlittler. He's going to pitch great tomorrow. I'm more concerned about the people behind him. Obviously, we tightened up. We did well. The bullpen did well. But what happened in the first few innings, we can't have that happen. It scares me. To be honest, it pisses me off when they look lackadaisical and stuff like that. But we won. We came back from 6-1, which I honestly can't believe we did, given how it looked in the beginning. And let's win the series, boys. Let's do it. But please tighten up that damn defense and show some effort like you did for the remainder of the game. Judge showing it with the glove and the bat today. I love it. Love my cap. See you guys.
And he's the MVP. Thank you for the, we were on the same boat there.
Now I'm curious what he said earlier.
We'll listen to it privately.
Yeah.
Guy says the Blue Jays gave us energy in life. We gave the Dodgers energy in life. Good teams have to go out there and take it. If you make a mistake, you have to capitalize. Bad teams are just going to, this is what Michael Kay said during the regular season. The Yankees would make mistakes, and you can just overcome them. The bad teams, the Rockies and the White Sox, they're not going to make you pay for making mistakes. The Jays made mistakes today, just a couple mistakes. You drop a pop-up, it turns into runs. So that creates more pressure, and it creates more errors. It just puts pressure on teams, and when you put pressure on, it works out. So obviously I was pretty proud of how the Yankees played today.
We got B-Rye, a.k.a. J-Dom for life.
Okay.
Aaron Sanderson Judge. I know his middle name's not Sanderson, but it may as well be. I called him Mr. May the other day, but he came through. It was a huge home run. good stuff right there. Yankees starting pitching has been pretty brutal. We're down really crapped the bed today. That was pretty gross. What if I told you before this game started the Yankees bullpen would have thrown 6 2/3 shutout ball?
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think any of us in here would have thought that was going to happen. Hopefully Cam can come through tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. No scroll tonight. No scroll, Gary. You have a good night, guys.
Why Aaron Sanderson? It's Aaron James Judge. Why did we go Sanderson there? That is so funny, God. Man. Thank you for the voicemail.
That's so funny. No, I'm blanking on who's the middle name.
Sanderson?
You're like, who the hell is that? No, I've heard it before. I can't remember.
I think I might have a. It's Derek Cheaters.
Oh, duh.
Yeah, I thought it was Derek's, and I just looked it up, and it is. So yeah.
All right. Well, now we'll wrap it up with Ed, and then we'll end this Martin Scorsese film.
Yes.
Oh my God! Just got home from a sick ass game. The AL East Revenge and Retribution Tour is alive. I don't know about well, but alive.
Freudian slip.
Wow. The Bednars were there and happy. The Volpes were there and happy, even though their guys struck out. This is that W, right? But I got to tell you, the best part of that game was seeing Judge almost do the Carlton fist wave to push that ball fair. But I will tell you that, and the second best part of the game was not having to listen to John Smoltz crap down his leg and crap on the Yankees. So I'm very happy. But
it's a good day.
Seriously, this is the first time I've actually seen these guys hit with urgency. Like, at least from the stands, it seemed like they were really, really stepping up, and their at-bats looked different. It looked like a hockey team in playoff mode, not in sleep mode. Anyway, great show, guys. I know you're in the middle of it. And going to be back there tomorrow. It's going to be amazing.
I hope so. No,
Can I make a call for tomorrow's game?
Yeah.
Giancarlo Stanton is hitting a home run in Game 4. I can guarantee it. Guarantee it.
I love when you
I can absolutely guarantee it. Giancarlo Stanton is going to hit a home run. And I don't know. I just get, every once in a while, I get a feeling about a player. And when we were making picks, I got hot. I'll be honest with you, Jake. I've got that tingle going on right now.
He's got the Peter tingle.
Yeah. Oh my God. I still see J-Dom for live. I don't know how this comment section has turned into just a J-Dom.
At least I don't know.
I don't understand it. I mean, you can't say that we're not fans of Jason Dominguez. We like J-Dom.
We've advocated for him to play quite a few times now in the postseason. So,
we tried. Are you thinking of a comment?
Yeah. B-Rye converted me. Oh my God, so funny.
Well, Aaron Sanderson would be great.
You know what? Very simply put, Aaron James Judge. There you go. That's it.
Aaron James Judge. Drop that in the comment section. If you're not subscribed after watching a 2-hour and 33-minute podcast all this time and you leave and you don't rejoin us, I don't know what you're doing. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell so YouTube notifies you. And if you need to go into your settings on your phone so that they can notify you, do that as well. Obviously, before you go, Jake, you know I'm going to ask them. Make sure you guys like the video before you leave.